Hello and welcome to the Modern Streamers League Week 5 Night 1 edition. This is a very, very special night because as of right now, Team Fire is in the lead. We have the scoreboards directly below for anyone who is curious. Now, I am really, really excited to see how this particular week plays out because if Team Ice can win, we will go into Season 2 with a complete tie, which I think would be absolutely incredible for just how rare that would be to open a show, to open a league, to open everything with an absolute tie. What do you guys think about that?
It's pretty interesting. I mean, nobody expects a tie when you have so many people, right? It's very hard to predict, especially since the caliber of players we have and the number of players we have. But the fact that it's come down to this is pretty... I don't think you could write it up any better.
No, absolutely not.
You still need to win. We are still in the lead for now. Just to remind you guys.
Absolutely, but you know what? Team Ice is... We are absolutely players and teammates that like getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. We've been forecasting how we thought everything would play out in our own little Discord for weeks now, and it's been a lot of fun. Now, the Modern Streamers League is a charity-driven league. The charities are directly located below you. Team Fire is represented by A21, whose goal is to abolish slavery worldwide. And Team Ice is represented by the Cancer Research Institute, whose goal is to end cancer everywhere. Both very great charities. Definitely click on the links. Definitely donate money to them. Help them out. The winning team charity will get all of the funds that we are raising right now at the Modern Streamers League. Now, I also want to point out that we are sponsored by Card Hoarder and Card Kingdom. Those are the places that I use personally. I know the co-founder Chris also use. That's where I buy my online cards, and that's where I buy my physical cards. Actually, just went to an MCQ, and I purchased the Druid card list that I'm playing here in the Modern Streamers League. In the league, I'm playing with cards I purchased from Card Hoarder, and in the MCQ, I'm actually playing with cards I purchased from Card Kingdom. So definitely great. Definitely check them out. And proud to be sponsored by companies I actually use. So that's pretty much it for the intros. I would like to jump straight into the forecast and then get into a match and watch our special guests here tonight, who I want to give them a chance to introduce themselves. Marcus, this is your first time as an announcer here in the Modern Streamers League. How excited are you?
As you can see by my face, like I always am, so excited. I can't tell you how elated I am to talk to the world about the Modern Streamers League. Just an FYI, this is how I always look. I'm never excited.
We have been seeing your gameplay whenever we're on a Team Ice week. We've always been seeing your point of view, and you've been pretty excited a couple different moments when you drew the exact card you needed, and that was pretty fantastic when you got that creeping chill for the victory there.
I mean, didn't need the creeping chill, but yeah, obviously it was nice to not have to attack, you know.
Mm-hmm. And we have a recurring guest here, Andrea. You actually are fresh off of a very good GP run. How's that going for you?
It went pretty well. I played Goddess Vengeance with the Boar God. Was pretty powerful. A bit inconsistent, cost me a few matches, but I really like the deck, and I might play that next season. Who knows?
Oh, Marcus and I can definitely try to prep our sideboards then when we're playing against you in Season 2. He's got some Boar God Breach we got to worry about. So,
yeah,
go on.
Just play some Neoform. Go faster.
I'm more inconsistent.
I personally hope Neoform and Hogak are changed at least before we have Season 2. Because we do that modern ban list, which will be coming up in just a week or two, which may be shaking down this format quite a bit. So that is it for the intro. Again, we're proudly sponsored by two great companies, and we are playing for two great charities. Definitely check all of them out. We are going to have a pretty good lineup here. We have Caleb Schur against KoDiamonds for the first match, and without too much waiting, I guess we can jump into the forecast of doom. At some point we can. Welcome. I moved really far here for this forecast of doom. Here we have Caleb Schur, a renowned Storm player, against KoDiamonds, one of the mods on the Abzan mid-range Facebook page, and he's absolutely fantastic. He actually keeps 5-0ing his Abzan, which I think is unreal because mid-range is not great right now. This matchup is a lot about clock. Now that all the discard and Lilianas in the world can do a lot to disrupt and slow Storm from winning a turn 3 game, and Fatal Push is really good at stopping a Lord, but if you don't clock Storm, they're just eventually going to get there anyways. So with a clock, I would say Abzan midrange could favor. If there's a turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Tarmogoyf, turn 3 Liliana the Veil, I think this heavily favors the Abzan player. But without that, I think Storm still can be sneaky and still can get those late game wins if there's kind of anemic beats going on from the Abzan side. Really integral cards here would be Scavenging Ooze from KoDiamonds, which can interact with the graveyard while clocking. And also, other cards would be the Empty the Warrens from Storm side, which can go very, very wide. And just an Empty the Warrens for 6 to 12 tokens, no big deal on Storm side, but that could be really hard for Abzan midrange to overcome without those Plague Engineers that are in the sideboard. So that is the forecast of Doom. Let's see how it all plays out.
All right, so we got Caleb Shearers here. Oh, we did. Now we do. Caleb Shearer here, opening hand, looks pretty strong. He's got just about everything he needs to go off other than some cantrips. Seems like an easy keep.
Yeah, the hand looks pretty good to me. I don't think you can ask more. Maybe something else instead of a repeal. That's pretty good.
Yeah, repeal game 1. I'm not entirely needed, but I mean, it's always nice to have just in case, especially since they've got problematic permanents in Liliana and stuff like that. It'll give you some more time. You can also do the sweet trick of if your opponent has no cards in hand, when they plus, you can bounce Liliana to their hand, they have to discard it.
It happened to me once and it felt so bad.
I can imagine. So yeah, it seems like Caleb's plan here is just to set up a little bit. He probably won't play the Goblin Electromancer on turn 2. Probably wait and see if he draws another land or something. Well, now he definitely will because he's drawn a backup one probably. Nice 2/1 bear from KoDiamonds. It's gonna probably get in for some damage here. I'd be surprised if Caleb plays Goblin Electromancer. Seems like Baral's a better blocker to save at least a couple points of damage here. Yeah.
Yeah, can block at least for one more turn, at least one attack.
Seems pretty important.
Yeah.
Every point of damage matters.
Yeah, 1 point of damage is 1 extra turn, 1 extra card to go off for the Storm guy.
Yeah. So what KoDiamonds definitely wants here is some discard spells, as many as physically possible. Fatal Push works too. I'm surprised, since seeing as KoDiamonds knew the matchup, that he doesn't have discard spells here. Hopefully he's kept a hand with some more disruption, but without the Thoughtseizes and stuff like that, Caleb kind of just has all the time in the world to craft a hand.
Yeah, but I feel like you don't need to toss this turn 1, you can like wait till turn 2, just put a clock and then, but looks like there is no discard since he decides to level up the Hex Drinker.
It looks like this repeal is actually going to be pretty great, considering he's probably just going to go all in on it next turn, possibly, and try to make it a 4/4. He gets just to repeal it for 2 mana, which would be really nice. Ooh, actually, with the Goblin Electromancer, repeal only costs 1 mana to bounce the Hex Drinker, so that's going to be really sneaky there.
Could do it right now if KoDiamonds wants to go to the level 3, that is when it's protection from instant.
Yeah.
And since you cannot level up at instant speed, it could be a big tempo blowout.
Oh, for sure. If KoDiamonds just goes for the double level up here, he's just going to get completely time walked and just going to be immensely favored for Caleb here.
I feel like in KoDiamonds' spot, he cannot wait to level up. He probably needs to either apply some extra pressure or some discard spells.
Yeah,
maybe just trade. That's also an interesting attack.
Trading seems totally fine. I think your 2/1 has like little value, and get rid of as many, enemy ways to go off. Trading a 2/1 for their ability to go off is super important. Scavenging Ooze post-combat leads me to believe that KoDiamonds doesn't have any interaction whatsoever, which is really bad for him.
And Miss Land Drop as well, that's also important. And he fetch a green-black source, so
Yeah,
there's no access
this
to
looks like game over basically.
I don't know, I'm not an expert on Storm, but feels like Caleb has everything to win at this point.
Yeah, it looks pretty cut dry here. He just has to not, I suppose, completely brick off, but he has the win condition plus the Grape Shot Remand. He can just get the normal 4 cards every single time and should be pretty trivial from here to win.
You also see the confidence in Caleb once he goes for Gifts and Given, didn't even think about what cards to get. Just clicked 4 cards super fast and...
Yeah, from that point it's basically always the same 4 cards over and over again. And then now he just has all the mana in the world, double Manamorphose, and yeah, this game's definitely over. He doesn't even have to cast too many spells just because he has the Grape Shot Remand combo.
Yeah, that's Ozaria as a killing hand right now.
Yeah. Play it up for the camera, deal as much damage as possible. Yeah, repeal for no reason. Yeah, sure. Casual 33 damage.
He didn't want to show off the second remand. Well, the first remand he didn't remand the Ooze.
Oh yeah, I didn't even have to show the remand. It's like, didn't even need it. Easy.
Pretty quick win.
Yeah, KoDiamonds didn't have any discard spells, or he only had one removal spell. But I definitely think, hopefully for game 2, he tightens it up. Definitely needs some discard spells and disruption rather than just playing a bunch of 2-drops.
Yeah, now we see Caleb bringing in the more grindy cards in Pieces of the Puzzle, Empty the Warrens, Bolts and a Braid to slow down the clock, maybe be able to finish off a Liliana with a Bolt.
Yeah, Bolt's great here. Kills Liliana sometimes. It gets to kill Scavenging Ooze, which is pretty important too. I'm not sure. It's possible. Take a look at KoDiamond's sideboard here. It's possible he's got a Gaddock Teeg or something along those lines, which Lightning Bolt would be good too.
Yes, Plague Engineers has some Surgical Extractions.
Oh yeah, both of those are decent too. Cuts off the Empty the Warrens plan. It's possible. Okay, it looks like he's still going for the Empty the Warrens plan, but it's possible that he knows that KoDiamonds has the Plague Engineer. Probably doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, also KoDiamonds in the sideboard has 1 Gaddock Teeg and 1 Kambal. That could be really good.
Yeah, Bolt's great there. Yeah. So yeah, definitely these bolts make a lot of sense. I wouldn't even be surprised to see the Dismember too, but it doesn't look like Caleb's going for that. Having all the outs to Gaddock Teeg is really nice. Same with Kambal. Repeal doesn't work against Gaddock Teeg because it's an X spell. Gaddock Teeg actually looks really strong here. He only has Grape Shot and Lightning Bolt to deal with it.
Yeah, so Caleb set it in the Empty the Warrens plan and gets stopped by a single card. So it's could be rough if they go for Gaddock Teeg.
For sure. It looks like Caleb's keeping a hand solidly based on it's just nice and grindy. Everything is a nice 1-for-1 or 2-for-1 at least. Even if they have, KoDiamonds has a lot of discard spells, should be okay because he has the cards to get back from Gifts and Given. And if he draws one of the creatures, he can easily go off with Empty the Warrens and just make a nice 8 goblins or 10 goblins pretty easily. I think this thoughts go ahead, sorry.
I feel if they go up for 10 goblins or even 8 goblins, it's probably the win unless they have Plague Engineer because they don't have much life gain.
Yeah. He has the Plague Engineers if you brought him in, and that's about it. You can't really fatal push, Path Exile your way out of those.
Yeah.
Thoughtseize takes the Gifts Ungiven, which makes sense. That was Caleb's big payoff here. Right now, Caleb's hand looks pretty slow, not really doing a whole lot. Doesn't have any Accelerant, doesn't have any mana sources. It's kind of just hoping on the fact that eventually he'll get them. And though if KoDiamonds doesn't present a clock real quick, it's going to be irrelevant here.
Yeah. Hopefully, these spiritual dives will find something useful for Caleb to either have a ritual is good enough. No, maybe he goes for a piece of the puzzle that could find a ritual.
Piece of the puzzle's great here. It allows him to basically look for everything he wants. No plays from KoDiamonds, which is pretty surprising. It's possible his hand is all reactive rather than proactive, which is not where he wants to be, unfortunately. My guess is stands probably like surgical, plague engineer, some fatal pushes, stuff like that, where definitely needs to assemble, a Tarmogoyf or at least, Scavenging Ooze or something to even have a chance here. Because as you see, Caleb just has everything. Caleb just has everything from here. He just has all the time in the world.
Also, I feel like surgical sometimes is not even good against Storm. It's only okay if they go for the Past in Flames plan. But sometimes it's just like they can go off and you don't have chance to surgical anything useful.
For sure, yeah. It's only good against if you get to Thoughtseize and get rid of something. Like, for example, if he Thoughtseized, Grave Shot or the Empty the Warrens, that'd be really nice. Or if he has it for the Gifts Ungiven here, it'd be pretty nice too.
He's trying to go off. At the worst case, he makes 6 goblins or 8 goblins.
Yeah. Seems like an easy one. Ooh, Pyretic Ritual's not too bad of a pickup. He's deciding if he wants 2 more goblins or not, I suppose. He's drawing a lot of lands. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands. It's a lot of lands for, I believe, is a 18 land deck or something like that.
So it goes for the extra goblins.
Yeah.
Instead of using it in case something goes wrong to rebuild it afterwards.
Yeah, so going for the 8 goblins here on turn 4. KoDiamonds doesn't really put up any sort of anything, though it is worth noting that the Shambling Vent, or both of them, if Caleb didn't have the Abrade here, the Shambling Vent alone would actually be probably enough to actually quell most of this, because it blocks 1, soaks up 2, and that's only 5 damage that Caleb's actually getting through.
Plague Engineer, if you like.
Ooh, yep. That one's really good here. Yeah, just the classic 1 for 4. Now Caleb's back on the... Alright, well, Empty the Warrens is a good start here, but it looks like he's probably just going to Abrade and then crack the Fiery Izzet, I'm guessing.
Yeah, hopefully find some Modern Gas to empty the Wardens for a good amount.
Yeah, it definitely needs to find a Passive Flames or something along those lines. Another Gifts Ungiven would be excellent. Doesn't have to Abrade right now because he doesn't have anything. Probably just wants to hold it up for, say, something big. Liliana's really good here, since Caleb has no resources to actually, play against it, and he just has no pressure to actually get rid of it. So Liliana's probably just going to be a 3-mana discard 3 and then destroy Caleb's mana base.
Yes, but the good thing for Caleb is that he has a lot of lands to discard to Liliana, so he has time to...
Ooh, Manamorphous is a good pickup.
Yeah, Caleb has time to... He has an extra land to discard to Liliana in case he needs. Oh, this was a good one.
So you can go off. You can go off for 6 tokens here, which is probably what he's going to do. 6 tokens isn't that bad.
Yeah, but as you said before, those Shambling Vents are a problem for Caleb.
Yeah, the Shambling Vent is just kind of a big roadblock. It's going to at least eat up 3 goblins here worth of damage, and Liliana should be able to clean up the rest of them. And unfortunately for Caleb, he doesn't really have anything else going for him other than this Fiery Izzet.
Another Plague Engineer.
Oh! Insult to injury.
Yeah, Caleb doesn't look that happy.
Yeah, it just has all the sweepers. Serum Vision's a good start, but unfortunately, due to this Liliana, he can't even keep cards in his hand for the most part. Since most of his cards are 1-for-1s, it's just not going to matter.
Maybe pieces could help.
Pieces is probably one of the better draws. It's either that or Past in Flames would have been great, because even if he discards it, it'll be okay in the graveyard. This Abzan deck is putting in work, but once again, still no clock, which is something he needs to get pretty ASAP, or else once again, Caleb's just going to have... Well, I guess not with the Liliana. He won't have any time to set up. He'll just have to discard a card every single turn. Those are both pretty decent.
Do you
Wouldn't
keep
be
both or
surprised.
only one?
Probably one, but yeah, that makes sense. He's probably just going to discard the Bolt, I'm guessing. Oh, maybe not. He doesn't really need the Ritual. He already has 6 mana.
Because the bot could kill Liliana or a Shambling Vent, that could help. Probably
Yeah.
Liliana, I would assume. Just not to have her ultimate and like let you back with like 3 lands or 2.
Yeah. It's worth noting that his other Lightning Bolt is discarded, so he can't actually kill the Liliana ever, except if Liliana minuses. So if he just ticks up every single turn, it's going to be a real problem, which is probably what the play is.
But I don't think Liliana's gonna minus in this game because only 2 Baral were left after sideboard. All the Goblin Electromancer and 1 Baral got out of the sideboard.
Makes
Got into the
sense.
sideboard.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just make your opponent's Fatal Pushes and all those cards way less good. Yeah, as we look at KoDiamonds' hand, it looks like that's what their hand was, just a bunch of removal spells, Plague Engineer. They have the answers, but no clock. But it looks like it's going well for him anyways, luckily. No bias, none at all. Collective Brutality is great here. Discarded, it looks like another Liliana. So yeah, it looks like Caleb's losing all of his hand. Which, great for him.
And also next turn, Shambling Vent could be the clock. It's a slow clock, but
It is a clock, yeah. Something is better than nothing. Oof, both of those are
that's a bad
miserable.
one.
Yeah, well, it probably takes the land here because he's just going to have to discard to the Poetic Ritual, yeah. Yeah, Caleb is not looking hot here. So he already gone through half his deck. No Past in Flames, it's worth noting. Past in Flames here probably gets him right back in this game.
Yeah, this graveyard is like super stuck of ritual, Manamorphose, and everything.
Yeah, I think if he draws the Past in Flames, unless KoDiamonds has... I don't even know what he could have here. Doesn't look like he has anything, so...
And
in turn... Yeah.
It's not enough. It's a land. And...
Alright. Something.
Please not another land.
Our ritual no good. Little Baral's not good either. Yeah, this is not going well.
Yeah, you played out just to have Diana force 2-, so...
Yeah.
Gives some more time to have all the lands.
Most likely just going to be Liliana minus, tackle Shambling Vent, unless KoDiamonds has drawn something nice. But yeah, this has been some pretty rough draws for Caleb. He's kind of just drawing a bunch of lands, a bunch of awkward timed spells, just a lot of his ramp spells, like the rituals in the late game where he doesn't want them. Oh, that's a big game. That's immediately going to go to 3.
It becomes a 4-4.
Yeah. This is a quick clock. This will be at least, what is it, like a 2-turn clock it looks like probably?
Yeah, because next turn can become a 6-6 and then attack for 6 and then 6.
Yeah, Caleb's going to have to draw probably Xaxis Past in Flames to even have a chance here, I think, in the next turn. So he's going to take 6 next turn and then 6 more, possibly 8 next turn. So yeah, he's got to draw next turn, I think, is the only time.
I guess he's leveling up now, since probably next turn he wants to attack with the Shambling Vent as well, or like deploy another threat.
Makes sense. It doesn't change the clock, but yeah, Caleb drawing another land is probably just the game. I think next turn, he won't die next turn. I think if he draws Xaxes, Passive
Flame.
Flames, I think is his only out here.
Because Pieces of to Passing Flames doesn't do it either.
Yeah, it's too much mana. Yeah, it looks like it. Just animate, level up, I'm guessing. Oh, no level up. Okay, sure.
The last level is at 8, so it needs 2 more mana to level up completely.
I mean, I guess dealing the 2 damage is better than leveling up to the last mode, I suppose, because you gain 2 life. Yeah, Pyretic Ritual off the top is no good. Caleb definitely loses this one.
Too much mana, too many lands.
Yeah.
And like the tosses were timely for like the double discarded Gifts and Given, which is really good.
I'm surprised he's citing out a Gifts Ungiven, but I guess since he brought in 3 Empty the Warrens, he has to change his the amount of mana, the curve. If he just has the Gifts Ungiven, he just has 8 4-drops, which is just too many. I wonder if Remand is really good, but I'm not going to question Caleb. He's probably put in more hours than I put in anything, so not going to question the master.
I haven't tried this new Storm version yet. The last time I played Storm was with the enchantment. I'm blanking on the name now.
Pyromancer's Ascension?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a while ago.
Exactly.
I'm surprised Aria Flame hasn't made its way into this deck. It looks like a nice inclusion that doesn't involve the graveyard, but maybe Caleb will show us next season.
I've seen some lists of Caleb before the league, and he tried out Aria of Flames, but I don't know why he decided not to have Aria of Flame in the list he submitted for the league.
Maybe just not enough testing with it yet. We've had 5 weeks, so I'm sure he'll have a nice updated list, or maybe he won't even play Storm. Who knows for the next season? But yeah, it looks like he's just staying with the same 60 as last game, and hopefully he won't draw as many lands. I think he had like 8 or 9 lands.
He's playing 17 lands, not even 18.
Oh wow! Over half the lands in his deck. That's delightful. All right. Well,
not a fan of this hand.
Yeah, doesn't really do anything. It can grape shot real quick for 5, but other than that, well, he kept it. Yeah. I mean, if he draws Xaxes, empty the Warrens here, it'd be really nice. KoDiamonds with this 2/1 every single game.
Also to notice that Caleb opted to draw and not to play.
Oh, really? Oh, well, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I guess the card advantage matters a lot. Just against the discard deck, every card matters. You need every piece of the buffalo. This 2/1 Savannah Lions just crushing.
If you find something, you could probably try to go off next turn out of this Metamorphose and all the ritual. Like if you find a Gifts and Given, maybe.
Yeah, if you find some Gifts Ungiven, or even just empty the Warrens by itself, you can empty the Warrens very easily for 12, possibly more, which, if KoDiamonds doesn't have Xaxes the Plague Engineer or that Maelstrom Pulse, be lights out, basically. Land is not fantastic. Wonder if he's just going to go for the Grape Shot here. Yeah, just to deal with it. Makes sense. It's going to bump it up next turn, and it'll just be 2 out of range of everything, so it's going to take way more damage than what is needed. Dark Confidant off the top is a strong draw. That's a little awkward after the after you just played it for that.
Yeah.
Serum Vision is going to pick up. Ooh, Piece of Muzzle.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I think he just takes the Serum Visions, probably. Puts that on top. Definitely doesn't need the land, especially given this hand of 4 rituals. He's definitely thinking about it.
Yeah, maybe he's considering for like not if you cannot go off immediately for the late game, like going off turn 4 instead of turn 3, because you are not gonna. Because probably next turn is gonna be a piece of the puzzle, so it's just a setup.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So
yeah, it looks like he bought both. Yeah, it looks like he bought them both, and you're right. Yeah, it looks like probably a piece of the puzzle for the next turn, and then probably hope to go off the following turn, depending on what KoDiamonds has here. But it looks like Caleb is, given his body language, not stoked at the moment. We have a Nihil Spellbomb flipped off of the Dark Confidant, so that turns off at least one half of Caleb Shear's plan of the graveyard. Looks like a Liliana, I'm guessing. Yeah, Liliana here. So Caleb technically has an open window here to go off if he draws, say, I don't know, just empty the Warrens or just really anything for the most part. Spellbomb, yeah. So I guess the Gifts Ungiven plan is basically locked out here because he won't be able to pass in Flames because of the Nihil Spellbomb, but it looks like just a simple piece of the puzzle turn for Caleb here, I'm guessing.
Yes, or you can try to reach-roll and then pieces of the puzzle and find something useful, but feels like it's too risky at this point.
Yeah, it makes sense, but it looks like he might be going for it. Yep, does look like he's going for it. He's going to go for the Splice. It's nice extra mana, so it looks like he's going to go for it. He gets to look at 6 different cards here. Manamorphose for 1 and Pieces for 5, so it's definitely possible that he can just hit here and kind of just go off. It makes a lot of sense here.
And the Braid at least can kill the Bob, probably, or the Spellbomb.
Yep.
Passing Flames.
Oh, Passing Flames would have been real nice, but the Nihil Spellbomb's definitely going to shut that off. I'm guessing he probably just takes the 2, though. Yeah. He's probably just going to braid the Nihil Spellbomb, and then fortunately he can't do anything in response to it, but at least for next turn, or maybe the following turn, he can still go off next turn.
Yeah, he needs to find some card draw spells, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the current hand, you can just Grape Shot for 7 or 8, it's probably not enough.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Surgical on the
Surgical
ritual.
I think it's on
Grape Shot.
Grape Shot. Yeah, it's on Grape Shot, which is a big name here. Caleb has one in his hand, so now Caleb just has no payoff, which is really awkward for him.
So the only win condition left in the deck is empty the Warrens or 1-3 beats.
Yeah, so if KoDiamonds just has a Maelstrom Pulse or a Plague Engineer, it's going to be almost impossible for Caleb to actually win here, unfortunately for him. Well, as long as KoDiamonds takes the Grape Shot out of the graveyard with Surgical Extraction.
I've seen that happen sometimes,
Oh, yeah,
just forgetting it.
It's that Magic Online sometimes. You just forget to click it, and then you just lose because of it. We've all been there. But it looks like he took the 1 in the graveyard. Looks like he took the 1 in Caleb's hand. And I think he's looking for the 3rd one, possibly, or possibly writing down.
Out one of them.
Okay, so yeah, just takes the 2. Probably just looking at
No, he has
Caleb's
only 2
configuration. Okay, fair enough.
It has only 2 in the deck completely, because I remember seeing only 2 off the board.
Makes sense. It's probably just looking how Caleb has, what is it, his win cons from here are. It's probably, he knows now that it's only just empty the Warrens and a Tarmogoyf off the Dark Confidant. So that's a real fast clock, given that there's at least 4 types in the graveyard. It's 1, 2, 3, 5 types in the graveyard, actually, instant from a braid. So it's a 2-turn clock, given the Confidant and the Goyf, so that'll be real nice. Liliana gets to uptick 2, so Caleb's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, I feel like Caleb should discard the Passing Flames just because you can cast it from the graveyard, but then you expose it to other graveyard hates that KoDiamonds could have.
Yeah. I think it's still probably the discard, though, just because the only way he can win at this point is through the Goblins. And it looks like KoDiamond's hand is now just Tarmogoyf, so if he draws the Empty the Warrens here, he might be in a good shape, though that Tarmogoyf is very large.
It's a 6/7.
Manamorphose, well, it's a start.
Let's see if it finds anything good. Oh, Gifts is good.
Ooh, Gifts is fantastic. So now, KoDiamonds only has about 10 damage given the Shambling Vent plus the Shambling Vent plus the 2 creatures he has on board. So he won't be able to kill Caleb, so Caleb can set up hopefully for a big Empty the Warrens next turn, which is, I'm guessing, his plan.
Yeah, I didn't go for like any of the card draw. I just went for like mana, Empty the Wardens, and a Bolt.
Yeah, Bolt to hopefully just at least soak up some damage. Though it'll still be a 2-turn clock. Yeah, KoDiamonds on no cards, so Caleb looks like he's going to go off at least next turn and make a lot of goblins. So if KoDiamonds can draw one of his 2 sweepers or something like that, it'll probably just be locked up.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter what you discard because of the Passing Flames.
Yeah. Though Caleb might be a little restricted on mana since he doesn't have any of the reducers. I think, given KoDiamond's positions, I think he can give him the Lightning Bolt and probably... It's possible just to empty the Warrens, and it forces Caleb to have Xaxes, like a bunch of rituals. Okay, that works too. So now Caleb's plan most likely will just be, discard probably the Lightning Bolt to the Liliana, and then just go a bunch of rituals, Past in Flames, Flashback, and then try and make a million tokens.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Yep, definitely a good plan.
I don't know if it's going to be enough tokens, but it's going to be...
Dark Confidant flipping, Liliana fail.
Could go for double discard, it's not a bad line either. If it's Lily, we can discard, like, replace the Lily and we can discard.
That makes sense, especially since, if KoDiamonds has nothing else, he still has the 2-turn clock in play right now with the 8 and then another 8, so I'm guessing the double discard will at least cut off Caleb's, possibility of going off slightly, but it looks like he's probably going to get to go off no matter what, depending on...
This is brutal.
Oh, off the top surgical extraction for his only other win condition. That's the match for sure.
So lucky.
That was right off the top surgical, because KoDiamonds went from having 0 cards in hand to having a surgical. But Bob just drawing 2 cards a turn there really was the difference maker, in my opinion.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
So I will have to update this little score tracker at the bottom right now. Team Ice now at 20 total match wins, catching up to Team Fire here. So we will have a quick break, and then we will get right back. Round number 2 is Catlight versus Cyrus corman-gill, Izzet Phoenix versus Bring to Light SnowShift. So this should be a lot of fun round 2. We got 2 blue decks, but very, very different style blue-red decks battling it out. We'll see you in just a bit. Welcome back to the Forecast of Doom. For the second match of the night, we have HellKatMTG Catlight on Izzet Phoenix against CyrusCG, Cyrus corman-gill on Bring to Light SnowShift. These are, well, one's a very heavy meta deck, and the other one is something kind of new. Now, I think this favors the Valakut deck a little bit, as long as SnowShift can slow things down. I think because we have open deck lists here, Kat should know that and try to be fast. Her cards like Aria of Flame might just be too slow because Cyrus does have a very consistent turn 4 or turn 5 combo kill, and mainboard Kat does not have too many ways to interact with that. She needs a fast Thing Flip or Phoenix Draw and hope that Cyrus doesn't have a path to deal with one of those threats. Now, post-board things even out quite a bit. Kat has access to things like 2 Force of Negation, 2 Blood Moon, and 2 Spell Pierce, which can really hinder the ramp deck's progression. Now, Cyrus also has some things he can bring in, such as a Dovin's Veto, a Force of Vigor, which can deal with that Blood Moon, and maybe even an Aria of Flame, which, again, like I said, is probably just too slow in this matchup, and I wouldn't be surprised if Catlight sides those out. I think Game 1 favors the ramp deck, but post-board, I think things even out. Well, that is the Forecast of Doom. Let's see how things play out.
Forecast of Doom. Not sure how this matchup plays out. Obviously, nobody has a ton of experience with the Bring to Light deck. Other than, I have a few experience with it, but I think the deck's pretty sweet. This matchup, I think, is pretty close. Like the forecast said, it should favor Cyrus Game 1, but post-board with Force of Negation and Blood Moon, it gets pretty bad, unfortunately.
It really depends how fast Cat draw on Game 1 could be. If she can have like a turn 3, like 2 to 3 Phoenixes might be enough to pressure Cyrus.
Oh, for sure. Cat's definitely thinking about his hand. I think this hand's definitely a mulligan since this hand doesn't do anything, but looks like they've kept. Well, they've got 3 cantrips for the most part, so they can at least cycle quite a bit. But I think they just have to go just way faster, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like not having a Phoenix, not having a Manamorphose. The Final Promise can help you, and since she's on the play, she can cast it before the fairy comes out, because the fairy stops the Final Promise, as I learned at my own expenses.
Oh, yeah.
No casting.
Yeah.
She needs the land, and probably some visions too.
I think it's possible that she just bottoms both. She really needs a threat. There's no threat, but yes, it's a little awkward.
Yeah, but I think this deck needs 3 lands to function.
Makes sense. Apparently I'm Cyrus now. Good to know. I wish I was Cyrus. That was great. Yeah, definitely a big decision on Cat's part. Yeah, keeping the land makes sense, mainly just because, like you said, you need the 3 lands, especially with the Finale of Promise.
And it's like Aria of Flame may be like the best card she can have. And I feel like in this matchup it's not as good as other matchups, just because of all the answers that Cyrus has also in the main board.
Yeah, makes sense. Cyrus has probably best opener here with Search for Tomorrow, so that's going to set him up later in the game. Okay, so it looks like Cat kept the Serum Visions and the Fireball for now, it looks like, so they kept both of them. It's either that or they got the old Moto Scrybug.
No, she didn't keep the land. The land was a fetch land. I don't know. Yeah.
Alright, perfect, no problem then.
It was a Misty Rainforest.
Alright, Aria of Flame's a nice winning condition here. It's possible that it'll be fast enough, given especially that they have Lightning Bolt and Finale of Promise, so.
Just hope to dodge the fairy.
Yeah, Teferi will be really nice here. Even just Remand from Cyrus' side will be really nice, but it looks like Cyrus has nothing given that Cinder Glade. So I think Cat's plan is just to slam Aria of Flame and kind of hope for the best, because next turn she can cast the Bolt, cast the Sleight of Hand, cast the Faithless Looting, and then the turn after cast Finale Promise for 3 more. Yeah. So it looks pretty solid here. But next turn Cyrus is going to have 4 mana. So the worst thing for Cat here, I guess it would just be that Teferi, because it makes Finale Promise irrelevant.
Or a Bring to Light for Teferi, I assume. But yeah.
Well, we won't have enough mana. We only have 4. Oh, there's the Teferi. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, you bounce Area Flame, Final Promise is dead.
Well, luckily for Cat, she does have the Lightning Bolt, so she can bolt the Teferi and turn back on everything, but that huge Time Walk advantage, just by the bounce alone, might be enough to give Cyrus time, especially since Cat had to play Aria Flame twice, giving Cyrus 20 life. So Cat has to play a lot more spells now to make this Aria Flame be relevant. And now Cyrus kind of just has all the time in the world for the most part here, given he's a 37 life. Even just land go here is totally fine.
Yeah, probably still has like 2 to 3 more turns, 3 solid turns probably before dying.
Yeah, Cat definitely needed a different kind of threat instead of Arya. Definitely needed the Thing on the Ice or some Phoenixes. Though it looks like Cyrus's hand is all either reactive or just all the big mana spells. Well, Finale Promise here, really stinky, given that Teferi's in play, unfortunately. But
Arya could kill Teferi. It's like you ping the first damage to Cyrus, the 2 damage goes to Teferi.
yeah, I think the first one wants to go to Cyrus, and then the second one can go to the Teferi.
Yes. And then she unlocks the Final of Promise, and she can pass with 1 mana up, maybe. Or maybe. This seems pretty bad. I mean, it's damage that goes to the face.
There's a lot of damage, especially with the Finale Promises, so it's possible, like, Cat's plan here is to win over 2 turns, just by going, like, the Opt here, killing Teferi, and then probably playing Lightning Bolt end of turn, and then untap, get to play Finale Promise for, 3 more spells. So it's possible, unless Cyrus has, something else next turn, that this might be enough.
Or maybe looting for some Phoenixes could be good.
Big Magic Sinkhole is definitely not a recurring one here. But I mean, I think if Cat draws a land here, she can go Lightning Bolt plus Finale of Promise, getting the Lightning Bolt again. Oh. End of turn Bring to Light is pretty spicy, thanks to Teferi.
You're probably gonna get another Teferi, I assume.
It's possible. Let's see here.
Or Acid Moss.
Oh, Acid Moss.
Yes. Sets you up for the win. Because puts you to 6 lands. No, it's not enough damage, but
it is enough if Cyrus has a Lightning Bolt, yeah.
Yeah.
He just plays the 7th land, Lightning Bolt you, go for the kill. Ooh, that looks like what Cyrus has.
Land and win.
Let's find out.
Okay, land is there. Scape Shift or Bring to Light does it.
Well, Bring to Light doesn't do it because he only had 3 different kinds of mana, but yeah, just had the natural Scape Shift, and that's enough. For game 1.
Counter spells, Blood Moons. I think that's about it. You don't want removal.
For sure, yeah, that Magmatic Sinkhole. It's possible. No, Magmatic Sinkhole definitely has to go, I think.
I think it's just fine. Killing Teferi.
That's fair, yeah. Yeah, I don't think any of the other cards really do much of anything. Yeah, I think for this matchup, I think you just want the Thing on the Ice. Okay, just enough. Do I want Magnetic Sinkhole? Perfect. Yeah, I think you just want the fast Thing on the Ice, the fast Arc-like Phoenixes, and you just have to go. You just have to go fast.
She looks pretty sad right now.
Yeah, cat with the QQ. Yeah, nothing else looks pretty good. Anger obviously doing nothing. Seasoned Pyromancer way too slow. I think you just gotta go fast and have a little bit of permission with the Force of Negation and Spell Pierces and kind of hope for the best. Though Blood Moon is pretty solid. Blood Moon can shut down basically Cyrus' entire deck.
Yeah, but it's not too much of a fan of Spell Pierce. I feel like his Cyrus is gonna have enough mana that Spell Pierce might not be effective.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely going to be those early turns where Cyrus plays like a ramp spell, or it's for that those early spells. Definitely, I would want to probably fire it off as soon as I possibly could. This hand doesn't seem that bad. Obviously, the Arclight Phoenix doing nothing, but if she draws like just one Faithless Looting, this hand will be extremely good.
Yeah, I like the not slide of turn 1 because you want to keep it for Force of Negation and you want to deploy the thing in the eyes before using your spells.
Yeah, also not going to 18 because of Scape Shift is pretty relevant too.
Okay. Our Flames is a good draw if you have one more land.
Yeah, definitely just gonna thing you guys here and kind of hope you just hit Faithless Looting. Manamorphose would be great too.
But now that I'm thinking, I don't feel like Blood Moon is that good in this matchup just because of all the answers that Cyrus has. He has the Teferi to bounce Blood Moon. He has a lot of basics as well, so like it doesn't stop his mana development or his color development. And then there's the Force of Vigor in the sideboard.
Fair. I do think, well, it's probably better than some of the cards Cat has. Like, it's probably better than Lavadar
Yeah.
something else. If you don't have anything else, like, I think it actually might be better. It's better than Aria of Flame, just because, especially given the fact that Teferi just absolutely destroys Aria of Flame is really tough. But I think Cat's thinking about, actually, I have no clue whether they want to keep the Serum Visions for Force of Negation, I'm guessing. I think you kind of just have to Serum Visions because your hand just does absolutely nothing. Just like one Force of Negation probably won't be enough to win you the game.
Yeah, but if she is a Faithless Looting out of Force of Negation, could be pretty good.
Definitely a thinker on this one. I definitely think, me personally, I would Serum Visions here. You have a lot more blue cards in your deck, plus it sets you up for next turn nicely. I don't think the only card that Cyrus could play next turn that would be, I don't even think it would be that much of a problem, would be Teferi. I mean, Teferi bouncing thing in the ice would be a little annoying, but I think that's the risk you have to take, given the rest of your hand just does 0. Like Aria of Flame doesn't even do anything here. Half her hand is Arclight Phoenix and random spells. But we'll see what Cat decides on doing.
Yeah, I don't think it's a really easy decision, but looks like she's passing priority.
Yeah, looks like she's just gonna hold it for the Force of Negation. Really doesn't want that Teferi to come into play. Maybe she's thinking about countering the Search for Tomorrow. I don't think that one matters too much, though it does give Cyrus the rest of his mana. So just go look for the Snow-Covered Plains.
Yeah, but if you use like your premium spell to counter just a small ramp spell, I don't think is how you're gonna win the game.
Yeah, I think definitely Cat just wants to save either save the Force of Negation for maybe an answer to Thing in the Ice or Teferi here, I'm guessing. Makes sense. I think Thing in the Ice is really the only thing you got going for you, so you might as well protect it. Given the Arclight Phoenixes don't do anything, you can't cast them. Aria of Flame is looking very mopey here. So looks like Teferi. Alright, so a little payoff for Cat by holding.
I need shocked for Teferi. To note that he shocked one of the Steam Vans to play Teferi instead of using the Forest.
Yeah, so it leads me to believe that I'm guessing Cyrus probably just has another Search for Tomorrow he wants to suspend, because there's no other reason why you'd you take the 2 damage here because you can just cast it with the forest. But we'll see after Cat makes a decision whether to force or not. I think, given the fact that Cat kept the force of negation for this reason, I feel like she's kind of priced into forcing it here. Andrew, that would be a pretty nice play, but I don't think he has it. Yeah, it's not in his list. Yeah.
I was just thinking about this Teferi.
Yeah, definitely a big thing. I think by not playing the Serum Visions last turn, you price yourself into countering with Force. Otherwise, like, there would be no reason to hold the Force negation. There's nothing better. I think this is the only thing that Cat wanted to counter for the most part.
And if you don't counter this, you don't counter anything else anyway.
For sure, yeah. Your Force of negation does nothing afterwards.
Yeah, we'll suspend it for tomorrow.
Yeah, alright, sweet. Makes sense. So Cat really wants a Faithful Suiting here big time. Ooh, 3rd Phoenix is terrible.
That's a bad draw.
Yeah, 3rd Phoenix is miserable here. Arya getting forced by Cyrus, which is kind of surprising. I don't really think Arya does too much, but of course Cyrus doesn't know what's in Cat's hand. Though I think if Cat's hand had a bunch of spells in it, she would have either cast them last turn or cast them this turn rather than just deploying Arya Flame because she just wants to flip this thing in the ice and start getting into the red zone. But land here is not the worst thing ever because now we get to cast these Arcade Phoenixes, play the old 4-mana 3/2 haste.
And she goes to 18 to notice.
Yeah.
So she's dead to 7 lands.
Yeah, the 7 lands plus the escape shift, unfortunately. Man, this is crazy. Yeah, I think she's seen all the Arclight Phoenixes. That's crazy.
And this could be the 7 lands and escape shift right now. The 7th land is here.
Yep. It's got escape shift. It's over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this looks like it. That is it.
Sad.
Yeah, Cat's hand, pretty bad.
Yeah, really bad.
It happens sometimes.
And she drew all the Phoenixes that she didn't want to draw.
Those were some pretty miserable draws.
They really were. She saw all 4 of the Arclight Phoenix that match, which, I mean, that really stinks for Cat, but is really, really good for Team Ice, who have to move that little flicker up. It's now tied 21-21, which is absolutely amazing. After 42 matches into the 5th week, we are tied 21 matches to 21 matches. I can't even... I could never have predicted this. That is amazing. But yeah, I love that SnowShift list because it runs Ice Fang Coatl, and I think that's just one of the sweetest cards we've seen come out of Modern Horizons that no one's really playing because it doesn't really have a great home yet.
Yeah, definitely in Modern, it's not seeing a ton of play. There's a couple lists that are, put up a one result or two, but it's seen a lot of play in this deck, which saw a lot of hype when it first got introduced. Mm-hmm. Cyrus 5-0'd with it. I think he posted it. Everyone was on the bandwagon.
Absolutely. So the next match we will be having coming up features Marcus himself against Dito. It'll be Grixis Death Shadow against Dredge. So Marcus will be doing the forecast of doom before his own match, and we will have commentary by me and Andrea. So for that next match coming up, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My
and welcome back for the forecast of doom. We have myself, GhostXEmpire, versus Dido. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce the rest of it because it's not even going to happen. Anyways, we have a classic matchup of Dredge versus Grixis Death Shadow, a tale timeless in its own case. But most of the time, overall, this matchup is slightly favored Dredge, but Death Shadow can have those draws of the classic discard spell for Dredge's one enabler, plus a really fast Death Shadow, plus Teamer Battle Rage. The things to be noted of this matchup is Dido can't go too low, or else he's in danger of dying to some surprise flip creeping chills. So he wants to keep his life total above 6 as much as possible. Another thing to worth note, main deck he has no answers to graveyards, but the sideboard he has a lot of Leyline of the Voids, which are pretty hard to deal with other than my Nature's Claims, but normally in the matchup, Dido would most likely have things like Surgical Extraction because they have Snapcasters. So the key points is if Dido has a fast Death Shadow plus Teamer Battle Rage, and if I have, of course, fast Pile of Creatures and an answer to Leyline of the Void. So hopefully I, crush Dido and we go ahead and let's find out.
So here we go.
Let's see the opening hand for Dido. It's a good one-lander. You have like Serum Visions to find a second land. You have Totsis that I don't think is that great in this matchup, but could stop some of... It's good at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I actually like this hand a lot. Turn 1 Thought, Watery Grave, Thoughtseize, he's down to 15 life, and then Dido can take an Enabler out of Ghost's hand, out of Marcus's hand, and then he's got Stubborn Denial, which can hit a Cathartic Reunion, which doesn't do as much, but it does stop that initial Dredge push. As long as he gets another land or a Street Wraith or something like that, so he can cast a turn 2 Death Shadow with Stubbs up, I think this is a pretty good hand here.
This is get the looting.
So he's going to take the looting so he can Stubborn Denial that Cathartic Reunion.
Mistland draft. Do you see Serum Visions? I think you just leave out the Stubborn Denial.
I think so too. I think stopping that progression from the Dredge side, I think is too important here.
Shriekhorn.
Oh. Marcus is wisely playing around Stubborn Denial right there. This is what open deck lists and smart players can really take advantage of here.
Another land, neither in the graveyard, not in hand. So now it just goes, but it's not a blue source.
Nope.
So, but they could play Angler probably.
Yeah, he's got plenty for the Angler. So he does have, next turn he'll have double Stubborn Denial up, but it'll be too late for that Cathartic Reunion, which will pitch at the very least that Prize Amalgam and maybe even a Dredger, thanks to that Shriekhorn.
I think with him got milled by the Shriekhorn.
Yeah.
And probably upkeep. No, probably don't need to do it in the upkeep. There's another Dredger in Life from the Loam. So it at least Dredges 8 with the Cathartic Reunion.
This is a pretty good start. Pretty smart start so far from Marcus.
And if he has a land in hand, he can return Bloodgust, returns... No, Prize Amalgam also returns for the Narcomoeba, and double Cryptid Shield. This is like a rough one for Dido.
This is exactly what I'm sure Dido did not want to see. Not only are there a bunch of blockers in play for his Gurmag Angler, but now he's at 7 life, and there's going to be a couple amalgams in play and some flyers. Flyers are a real big issue for Grixis Death Shadow because they can't lock down the ground with that, and it feels really bad to Fatal Push in Narcomoeba.
So 7 life is still fine. You can play like double Shadow.
I think that would be the line. I think I would right there play double Shadow. I don't think keeping Stubborn Denial is doing too much here, because I don't see, like, it'd be one thing if I saw the Conflagrate in the bin there, but I don't see it there. Okay, yeah, Creeping Chill is enough to end that game.
Yeah. So Anger of the Gods is great to kill most of Dredge's creature. And like Leyline of the Void, Plague Engineer is a good cyber cards. For cutting some of the not efficient cards. I usually don't like 1-for-1 removal.
Mm-hmm.
As we see, they do like starting out some fatal pushes.
But Plague Engineer has been an all-star tonight, just in general, being able to answer at least one thing, or as we saw earlier with KoDiamonds against Caleb Schur, Plague Engineer answering 8 Goblin tokens and still being a 2/2 body that still threatens to stop any future Goblin tokens is a real deal. Hitting a Plague Engineer against a Bloodghast or against a Narcomoeba seems a lot better than Fatal Push, like you were saying, not having that 1-for-1 removal there.
I'm a big fan of Plague Engineer. At the beginning, I thought it was like, this card is cool, but might not be that great. And now, like, every time I see it from the sideboard brought in, and this brought in like several matches in Modern and also in Legacy, and every time it's been impressed me a lot.
We're going to be seeing it. We're going to be seeing it in somebody's deck. We're probably not going to see it in the actual matchup next round with Garrett Martin's Abzan company list. I doubt he'll be bringing it in against Amulet Titan because it doesn't really do too much there. But it's still, this is a multi. It's not just a. It's a format all-star, but it's in so many different types of decks. I think it's absolutely incredible how much it's touched this format.
He's probably warping Modern more than Ren and 6.
It's in more decks than Ren and 6, that's for sure. I think what Plague Engineer, Ren and 6, and Lava Dart, the accumulation of those 3 cards has really pushed out X1s out of the format. I know in my Druid card list, I get pretty nervous about those types of cards because I run a lot of X1s and they can really punish me between Dryad Arbor and Vizier.
Yeah, I've also noticed in Legacy some Death and Taxes lists actually went for Giver of Runes instead of Mother of Runes for like because of Ren and 6.
Mm-hmm. Even though Mother of Runes is almost strictly better. Yeah, being a 1/2 is real. It's one of the reasons why Deathrite Shaman was so powerful, just being a 1-mana 1/2 that can kind of take over a game. So I wonder what Marcus is thinking about with his sideboard plans here. Just in general, he doesn't have to bring in that much. He's got the Lightning Axes just to deal with the Gurmag Anglers, maybe an early Shadow.
Yeah, maybe Nature's Claim for the ley line, probably want to bring some of those in. And maybe some Thoughtseize, but I don't know if you want to. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I think I'd rather have a removal spell for the Death Shadow than try to Thoughtseize it out, because I do think Grixis Death Shadow top decks reasonably well with how many cantrips and Street Wraith they have. They can have no hand, and then all of a sudden top deck is Street Wraith, goes Street Wraith, Serum Visions, Gurmag Angler, and that was just one sequence.
Yeah, but I feel like Lightning Axe might be not enough damage to kill that Shadow.
Would hit the Angler, though. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, you brought in Lightning Axe.
That was a pretty bad hand.
And was on a mall to 4? Yeah. It cannot expect too much in a mall to 4.
No, not at all. Although Dredge does mulligan well. I mean, eluding and a couple dredgers is all you really need.
And a late Leyline of the Void is probably not what Dido wanted to draw. And now you have a Dredger, and you can get back all the land, so you can have the triggers of the Bloodcast thanks to Life from the Loam. And also fuels the Conflagrate if it's still left in the deck.
Yep.
Probably you want to keep it left in the deck just because that Shadow goes so low that one Conflagrate is just little.
I think you're absolutely right. I think even just a hard cast, not even from the graveyard, Conflagrate can sometimes be a surprise kill. I've used many walking ballista. Like, oh, I have a 3/3 walking ballista right now. I'm at 6 mana, and that's been plenty of ways to kill a Grixis, a greedy Death Shadow player.
And actually, Lightning Axe killed a Death Shadow. My prediction was wrong.
I'm not gonna say I told you so, but
But you did.
But I did, yeah. Life from the Loam is doing a lot of work here, only really cycling one card each turn, but being a repeatable dredger. And Dito needs one more mana to cast this Leyline of the Void, which will stop that loop with the Life from the Loam and buying back. But there is a Conflagrate now in that graveyard.
And Dito held back. I assume because he's like a 10, so the Bloodghast have haste and he doesn't want to die to the Bloodghast. Maybe he wants to try to combo kill with the Timor Battle Rage instead of going for like chipping 3 damage.
I think you're right about the Bloodghast. I also think just Temur Battle Rage is really important about getting through Dredge's blockers. Well, there goes that Lightning Helix.
Now he decided to go. He has the Fatal Push for Bloodghast. I think there is a Bloodghast in the graveyard.
Mm-hmm. There's a 1/1. That could be troublesome. I think I'd rather push that Narcomoeba, because that Narcomoeba can block where the Bloodghast cannot. And Marcus is sitting on a fetch land here, so he could get that Bloodghast whenever he wants. Like, he can swing for 2 right here.
Or maybe he's probably worried that if he puts Dito to 6, like a Timor Battle Rage plus like a fetch land is lethal. So he doesn't want to attack with the Bloodghast.
Could be. Or he's waiting for... I think he might even just be waiting for a prized amalgam so then he can get more than one body out of that fetch land. Just getting back a single 2/1 doesn't seem great, especially since there's no harm in waiting because it does have haste. But if you wait till you get a prized amalgam in the bin, then all of a sudden you have 5 power, and one of those can block. That could be what he's doing there. We'll have to ask him at the end.
But it comes into play tap the prized amalgam, so that's the problem. Another Tots is risky.
But that would change the clock. So that would make it so Dito could win in 2 punches in with that Death Shadow, but that Death Shadow would be a 7/7, dealing 14 damage over 2 turns. However, he's got to watch out for that Conflagrate in the graveyard with that Bloodghast too.
Looks like he's just gonna attack for 5.
We can see this low lane count deck. Like, he's just needed 1 more mana to actually be able to cast that Leyline of the Void. Dito's kind of spinning his wheels here a little bit.
And now you can Conflagrate for only 2 lands in the graveyard, so for 5. So it's 1 damage short.
Yeah.
That's why Marcus goes for a Faithless Looting.
I mean, if Marcus doesn't have a blocker, he's just dead here.
Yes.
Creeping Chill or a blocker. He needs something to be able to, because Dito is representing 5 power, but with that Thoughtseize, he's really representing 7, because Death Shadow gets a little bit tricky with the math. So Fatal Push or Lightning Axe, or that's it. Okay.
So 1/1. No changes in the cyber between game 2 and 3.
Well, I think those Temur Battle Rages secretly might be one of the most important cards in this specific matchup. Just getting over those blockers.
Because the blockers are not impressive. They're like 1/1s in Narcomoebas. The Stink with Imp is 1/2s. The present amalgam is like a 3/3. It's like an okay body, but usually Shadow is bigger than a 3/3.
But they're bodies that don't really mind dying, especially the Dredger. and the prized amalgam, because if they die, you can just always just get them right back. Ooh, this is a big, big play here. You can see Dito gave a little bit of a smile, just a little bit right there when he got that turn 0 ley line out. That card will matter a lot here.
Nature's Claim. They always have it.
Yeah. Okay, so he did that to play around Stubborn Denial. That's why
Nature's
that's why he
Claim,
did that right then. Yep.
and also Nature's Claim gives Dido 4 life. That's like, it's extra work to have those shadow work.
Yeah, especially since he's got a shadow draw and not a Gurmag Angler draw. I played a bit of Grixis Death Shadow, and I was always. It's really dependent upon what your hand looks like if you're going for that Death Shadow draw, the Gurmag Angler draw. And I always found it hard to kind of play around which one you're doing there. But this is a Death Shadow draw with double Death Shadow in hand. You're absolutely right. Gaining that 4 life was a real hindrance to slow down Dito's game plan here.
Or both of the cards.
I wonder if he keeps
also,
the ley line, because he actually has 4 mana this time. See, he's got the 2 lands in play and 2 in hand. He can actually turn 4, hard cast that ley line, and stop any sort of engine, and force Marcus to have another answer.
yeah, also to note, Blast Zone is in the yard for Marcus. And Blast Zone is pretty good. If you have access to 3 mana, you can just like play it and like kill a shadow.
Mm-hmm. And that cannot be stopped by Stubborn Denial.
But could be stopped by the ley line.
Yes. If there's a Life from the Loam, it already picked it up. Life from the Loam is already cast and already picked up that Blast Zone. So Dito's got to be smart playing these Death Shadows and probably only play 1 at a time. Otherwise, he can get blown out by that Blast Zone.
I think he probably wants to deploy first the ley line and then starting deploying the shadows.
I agree. He's got a little bit of time here. Marcus has a bit of a slow draw.
And now it's getting faster.
Mm-hmm.
But Dito still has some time.
Life from the Loam is drawing so many cards here. It's being a very, very good Ren and 6 here.
Cycle, dredge some more.
That was a nice greedy line. I like that a lot. Just having a cycling land in your mana base, I think, is a bit greedy, but it works out so well in these Ren and 6 decks, and works out so well, as we see right here, in a Life from the Loam deck.
I mean, there is the risk that you pay because of that. Dismember without losing any life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like its life is pretty threatened, so it doesn't need to lose himself too much life.
And
Also,
did that right before casting this ley line, and the ley line isn't like Rest in Peace, so it's not going to exile the graveyard, but it will stop future things from going in there.
Also interesting that he opted for saving some life and not go for the red source. So for now, all of his red spells that are not many that are left in the deck are shut off. But to note that it's either in Anger of the Gods that is double red. So
Right.
I think that spell might be off for the rest of the game.
Anger of the Gods might actually be, that's a good call, because Anger might be one of his few outs to when he gets a little crowded behind the board. It's either Anger or Temur Battle Rage, and both of those are red spells. Good catch with that mana base there.
That's a pretty good board.
Yeah. Dito's at 10 life. He needs a Gurmag Angler.
Triple that shadow when you know your opponent has a Blast Zone in hand. Doesn't feel that well.
No. If I were Marcus, I think I'd just attack for a 2 this turn. Just attack with the Narcomoeba and Stinkweed Imp. There's no need to use the Blast Zone right now. I mean, he doesn't know that Dito has more shadows in his hand, but I don't think the 3 damage matters that much. I know it is a 2-turn clock, or it is a much shorter clock. I'm wrong. I am wrong. There's a blood gas there.
So, yeah, Dito's on 1.
And that
It's game.
That's game right there.
Doesn't even need to record that Blood Zone.
No, just the 2 Death Shadows can't block anything there.
Wow, Marcus.
Champion.
So I have to update this little thing below, and I don't know. Ice just took a commanding lead today, 3-0 so far on the day.
Doesn't look good for us.
I will say Team Ice is definitely being a top deck champion team. We are top decking very, very well today. That Blast Zone was instrumental in your win there, Marcus. Do you think that's one of the most important cards in that matchup?
Yeah, for sure. Mainly just because there's nothing that they can do about it, and it just sits in play. It kills half of their threats. I mean, the only other threat they can have is the 5/5. So just having it in play, also being able to recur it over and over and over again, just means that their half of their deck is just null and void.
I do wonder if it's almost so important that it's almost worth like surgicaling or something, that Blast Zone, because Lightning Axe, as Andrea pointed out earlier, it really doesn't do much usually against Death Shadow. I mean, you got to kill an early Death Shadow in game 1, but usually it doesn't do too much in that matchup. Blast Zone is basically a engineered explosives that can't be stubborn denial, and you can bring back every single turn, or every other turn, I guess, is really the...
Yeah, I mean, I think the main point there is I just had, like, if I didn't have Nature's Claim, the game was obviously over. Luckily, since we knew the deck list, I could bring it in. But normally in that matchup, I probably wouldn't bring it in because most of the time they do have just Surgical Extraction or Nihil Spellbomb or something like that, and it's not actually very good, other than giving them 4 life, which is not too bad. But yeah, overall, Blast Zone and the Forgotten Cave have been like super good cards for the deck, just because you can dredge at instant speed with the Forgotten Cave, which is nice. Plus, being able to just surprise people with Creeping Chill, something like that, which is pretty nice.
Being able to end of turn dredge and maybe hit a Narcomoeba and buy back some prized amalgams to be able to untap with on your turn seems really good with that cycling land. It's also I'm just smiling at the thought of being able to cycle dredge at somewhat instant speed and maybe even hit like a Creeping Chill at instant speed and kind of feel like a little bit like an opt-into Terminus in some cases, just being able to kill somebody, but when they can't even really respond, or in response to a life gain spell, you can be like, well, you're at 3 life, I can just go for it right now when you're tapped out. Oh, I got there. And just kind of give you some, every once in a while, just extra instant speed stack interactions, which can play to a pilot's strength, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's really nice just because you can just do it over and over and over again with the life in the loam into getting it back. And you can just do it an extra extra dredge every single turn, multiple times a turn possibly is really nice.
Absolutely. So that was fun. We were all tied up, but Marcus took one there for Team Ice. We're now 22 and 21. The marker will be updated momentarily. We're going to go to a quick break before we then get to see a deck tech from PuntThenWhine on Amulet Bloom, and then from there we'll go into the Forecast of Doom and watch before Garrett Martin on Abzan Company and PuntThenWhine on Amulet Bloom play for round number 4 of night number 1 of week number 5 of the Modern Streamers League. I don't think I could have said that any longer. I do want to take
many numbers.
Yeah, I do want to take a quick shout out to our sponsors, Card Hoarder and Card Kingdom. As I've already given a testimonial for in the beginning, that is where I purchased my digital copy of my deck and my paper copy of my deck. It's where I buy almost all of my cards from. And just remember, this league is a charity-inspired league, a charity-driven league. We do have 2 charities we are playing for. Team Fire is playing for A21, which is trying to end slavery everywhere. And Team Ice is playing for the Cancer Research Institute, whose goal is to end cancer everywhere. Check them out. They're right below. You can click on their websites, check them out, donate. If you make any donations to the league, or if you do sub, that money does go to the winning team's charity. So please check them out. Make sure you help these awesome charities out. And that'll be pretty much it. So we will see you in just a minute. Like I said again, Garrett Martin and PuntThenWhine.
Hi, this is Nicholas Bruno, also known as PuntThenWhine, here to show off the Bloom Titan deck for the Modern Streamers League. This deck uses Amulet of Vigor in conjunction with Azusa and Bounce Lands to help power out a fast Primeval Titan. Once Primeval Titan is in play, usually you will get a Talaria West and Bounce Lands to transmute for either a Summoner's Pact to get more Titans, Pact of Negation, or Engineered Explosives to deal with problematic permanents. You can also get some utility lands like Slayer's Stronghold and Sunhome, which can create a fast kill, especially with Amulet of Vigor, or Radiant of Fountain and Colony Garden, which can help you survive. And the deck also has an alternative win con through Hive Mind in conjunction with the packs. There is the rest of the cards in the deck are just there to make it more consistent. We've got our cantrips in Ancient Strength and Serum Visions, along with some extra blue mana to help us cast Serum Visions or transmute Talaria West. And then we've got Lotus Bloom, which can just guarantee us a turn 4 Titan, or help haste a Titan in conjunction with an Azusa, even if you don't have an Amulet, or perhaps 2 Lotus Blooms. Moving on to the sideboard, we've got Swan Song, which can help us fight over counterspells, Dismember and Slaughter Pact, which can deal with problematic creatures like Meddling Mage and Spellqueller, Kozilek's Return, which deals with humans and other small creature decks, Hornet Queen, which helps deal with humans and Death Shadow, Nature's Claim and Reclamation Stage, which will help us with Blood Moon and other artifact decks. Then Walking Ballista for humans and hate bears, Coalition Relic for things like Blood Moon, Field of Ruin, and Damping Sphere, Tormod's Crypt and Bajuka Bog for graveyard-based strategies, and Ghost Quarter for Tron and Inkmoth Nexus. I look forward to playing this deck in the first season.
Welcome back to the Forecast of Doom. I hope you like that deck tech from PuntThenWhine. I'd like to be doing more of these going forward, so each player can give a little spice under their own deck. Now, these are 2 decks here, Abzan Company and Bloom Titan, that I've actually played a little bit of. Now, Garrett Martin's Abzan Company, and I've worked with him a lot on different Abzan Company builds. We've been talking about Abzan Company and Kitchen Finks for a long, long time. Infinite Life wins a lot of games in Modern. Not as much as it used to, but it still wins quite a bit. And Devoted Druid turn 3 kill is very, very consistent when decks don't have a lot of interaction. Now, PuntThenWhine's Bloom Titan is also another combo style deck, and he can go a turn 4 Titan or a turn 4 Hive Mind and try to win the game here. Unfortunately, Hive Mind killed might not be the best because Abzan Company does generate a decent amount of green mana, and with Noble Hierarch, it can actually generate, and Birds of Paradise, can actually generate some blue mana to pay even for a blue pact. So I'm not sure that it'll actually be that great there. So I would actually expect to see some Hive Minds out, and I'd expect PuntThenWhine to side in some more removal spells, Slaughter Pact, Dismembers, extra Engineered Explosives to help interact with this turn 3 combo kill. Because the onus is all on PuntThenWhine to interact with Garrett, and Garrett actually has a plan B once his Druid dies, and if his plan B is, I'll just try to gain infinite life since I already have a Vizier in play. So I think this matchup heavily favors Abzan Company. I've played both sides of this matchup quite a bit. I've extensively tested both sides of this matchup, and I believe I'm something like a 90% win rate with Abzan Company against Bloom Titan. But I am not nearly as good of an Amulet Titan player as PuntThenWhine. So let's see what he does here, and let's see how it all plays out.
90-10 difference between matchups seems pretty high. Hopefully take that and Garrett wins.
Yeah, it looks like Garrett's hand's not too bad. A little light on mana, but other than that, he has the turn 2 Devoted into maybe turn 3 Eldonra's Call into the win. So that's their plan, yeah. Devoted Druid.
It could be a turn 3 kill. Because that's what I recruited for Ballista.
If he draws Xaxes the second piece, it's a turn 3 kill.
Does it need a land or the Vizier?
Eon 2, alright, so it's got Garrett here to... right off the top. Right off the top. Skill game. Yeah, that's it. That is it. That was crazy.
That was the first one.
Yeah, that was turn 3 kill, easy peasy. Should be game over, yeah. Man. It wasn't even close.
Maybe my prediction of 90-10 matchup was pretty good.
Yeah, this matchup seems pretty bad. I mean, PuntThenWhine doesn't have a lot of interaction early game, and I mean, if he doesn't, especially on the play, just like really, really tough.
So Garrett brought in some Thoughtseize. Maybe you want Assassin's Trophy and Path as well to deal with Titan. But I feel like sometimes when Titan is out, you're dead already, so I don't know if you need those cards.
I think Assassin's Trophy is not that bad, especially it prevents like the Amulet from going crazy, something like that.
Killing a bounce land also is like Stone Rain.
Killing a Stone Rain sometimes is actually just enough for the game, which is pretty funny. I don't think anything else is that great. It doesn't look like... Yeah, I think everything else is fine. Knight of Autumn seems so-so. It's possible you can hit an Amulet on the play here. It's possible it's a little too slow on the draw.
Yeah, I like Syncollator. Also, Kambal could be okay. Maybe a bit too slow, but since PuntThenWhine deck is based a lot on like non-creatures, as amulets, as a...
I'm not sure about Sin Collector. It doesn't seem like PuntThenWhine has a ton of targets for it. It's got maybe, the...
6 spots?
The packs, and then outside of that, what else? Not too much, I don't think.
Let me check his list. As Serum Visions, 6 packs, 4 Ancient Stirrings, but it's probably too late when you cast that one.
Yeah, I think that's probably a little too slow. I think Combo, like you said, is probably a little better than Sin Collector, I think, overall.
I mean, you could see some Cosmic Return that I assume they come in from PuntThenWhine sideboard.
That's fair, yeah, sure. After I had Cosmos Return. Man, that's a blast from the past. Ooh, this hand I think is way too slow. This hand looks pretty good. You just need one more combo piece, I think, and you...
Turn 3 win again.
Yeah. And then, worst case scenario, you just cast turn 2 Calm Ball or turn 2 Knight of Autumn, which is not that bad either. Yeah, I think he's well situated here. As long as PuntThenWhine... It's actually funny because PuntThenWhine can't even go crazy with Amulet here because of the Knight of Autumn on turn 2. So he's got most of his bases covered, which is really nice. Obviously, no good for my side, but... Simic Growth Chamber. Amulet here is nice. Simic Growth Chamber. Yeah, this Knight of Autumn's going to do work, it looks like. Ooh, Thoughtseize too, but definitely want to get rid of that Amulet as soon as possible.
He actually decides to go for Thoughtseize.
That's interesting.
Let's see what's...
Oh. Alright, well, PuntThenWhine's hand sucks, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like a great hand.
Alright, well, I guess this line paid out. I think overall killing the Amulet might have... I mean, obviously, hindsight's important, but, like, I think if you just kill the Amulet Vigor, there's no way they can punish you for it. But, obviously, this paid out extremely well because of the Kozilek's return in their hand. To where West's probably just going to get a Pact, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Slaughter Pact.
Slaughter Pact's nice here.
Yeah, I guess you want to survive instead of going for the title at this point.
Yeah. I mean, they just have the combo here. Can't do anything about it, but looks like Garrett's got everything pretty situated, and we know that PuntThenWhine doesn't really have much in their hand outside of lands, and they're forced their entire turn is used up by the Slaughter Pact, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Garrett, to be safe, could go like Eternal Weakness, get back Thoughtseize, and check the hand again.
Yep, definitely a good line here, too. Yeah, he's just got most of his options covered here. He just needs to, maybe put a little bit of a clock out, so maybe he goes for the Calm Ball here. There's no threat, I don't think, of... Yeah, there's no threat of Titan next turn here because he doesn't have the Amulet anymore. So just playing the Calm Ball here seems totally fine. I guess Lotus Bloom, that's probably not going to be relevant here. 3 more
Turn
turns.
5 is late.
Yeah, 3 more turns is probably not even going to be happening outside of, Garrett just drawing literal nothing forever. Yeah, I think his line of just going like Eternal Witness into Thoughtseize seems pretty great here.
Unless you want to be greedy and set up for the combo, but I don't think you have to.
No, I think he just needs to make sure no Titans are cast, and then that's probably enough. He's got 6 power on the board, and if PuntThenWhine plays any spell, it's lethal. Oh, I just said nothing.
So Titan off the top or bust, basically.
Yeah, Titan or bust, it looks like. Man, PuntThenWhine's draws have not been very good, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, this deck plays a lot of lands. So he plays like 27 plus lands, so it's really easy to flood with that many lands.
So now PuntThenWhine has, it looks like, one more turn. Yeah, one more turn, it looks like. Next turn, it still won't be lethal, but they won't have any way of casting any non-creature spells, so it'll be very difficult to win from there. So I think...
Yeah, but he has to cast the exiled one, the Lotus Bloom.
Yeah.
It's not optional, so he's gonna die whenever he casts the Lotus Bloom.
Good thing here, actually, Engineered Explosives would be really good. All their threats are 3s, but looks like, unfortunately, PuntThenWhine drew literal nothing, and that's it.
It was a fast game.
Yeah.
I wasn't lying when I said 90%. I actually double-checked. 9-1 in competitive MTGO leagues as Abzan company against Amulet Titan decks. I just think it attacks from too many angles, and it's faster than Amulet Titan generally is, and it requires Amulet Titan to do something which is really not used to, really not built to do, and have early like an early removal spell. Like, it's kind of just like how Infect has a really good Amulet Titan matchup too.
Yeah, and even if they have like a Path to Exile or something like that, you're still ramping them to get the Galactic Company or anything like that. I mean, that game, you just had nothing. You just beat them down with 2-1s.
So Team Fire back tying it all up again. Now after 44 matches played, we are all tied up. And because Team Fire is currently actually has a leg up on the weekly wins, which is really what matters here, they have won one more week than Team Ice. Team Ice needs to win this week to tie the 5-week Season 1, which will make Season 2 for all of the glory, which I think would be really, really interesting.
It'd be really crazy if it just comes down to a tie, like just the whole way until the last week. The ultimate nail biter.
Week 9, everything drawn, and it's like,
yeah, that'd be intense.
Oh, we can
and
even
then
go and
draw
see
week
who
9 too.
we can even see who'd be playing in Week 10, just to try to make that. Maybe you two are playing in Week 10. We could probably double check, but that'd be crazy. And then everything would come down to that final match between GhostXEmpire and Capolo.
Yeah,
And
the
Capolo
ultimate
may or may
showdown.
not be on some Boar God combo at
I'm
that
not
time.
gonna lie, I'd probably lose. Most of the decks I play have terrible matchups against that deck.
I'm playing against GhostXEmpire on week 7.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
So not Week 10.
Marbles.
Not Week 10.
Not for all the marbles, hooray.
So what we have coming up next is the last match of the night. It is Blue-White Control, RJ Benson against DaviusMinimus, another Bring to Light list. You guys got so much Bring to Light to see tonight. So we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to come back for the Forecast of Doom with Marcus leading the Forecast of Doom there. And then we're going to see the 5th and final match of the night and see, since we're all tied up 22-22, we're going to see which team has the edge going into week 2 of the final, going into night 2 of the final week of the Season 1 of the Modern Streamers League. There's got to be a more efficient way for me to say that. We're just going to see which team's winning at the end of this night. How's that?
Words are hard.
Words,
That's good.
it's hard to speak.
Yeah.
See you in a minute.
It's getting close to midnight here in the city where it once felt clear, and I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve. The devil's highway spared my life. I guess my stars still have sunshine, and I can't wait to see that smile. Standing here, waiting on you. My bags are packed now, baby. Won't you claim me too? Won't you claim me too? Watch the lovers embrace now. Their eyes light up just like the sights in this town. And I can feel your flight touch down. My nerves are flaring as I pass the time, but then I see a face that remembers mine, and you, just like heaven before my eyes. Standing here, waiting on you. My bags are packed now, baby. Won't you claim me too? Won't you claim?
We're back with another Forecast of Doom. Unfortunately, we have Cyrus's deck list here instead of DaviusMinimus's list, but Davius is playing 5-color Mizzet, the delightful reprint of Mizzet Reborn, the 5-color strategy, and versus Robcaster Mage's blue-white control. We all know blue-white control, but the 5-color Mizzet deck, if you're not familiar, tries to cast Mizzet Reborn, and the entire deck is multicolor spells, so you just accrue an insane amount of value with Mizzet. You also get to play Bring to Light, which, not surprisingly, looks for Mizzet, so you just get even more value. So I think the game plan here for Davius, my apologies, is just to accrue value with Bloodbraid Elf, Mizzet, some discard spells, and hopefully to grind out Azorius Control. Robcaster's Mage is trying most likely to just set up, control with their various counter spells, planeswalkers, and stuff like that. I think the slight edge goes to the 5-color deck because all of their threats are actually pretty good, and if they ever get to land at a Mizzet, it's probably just going to steamroll advantage too high. But I think this matchup can definitely go either way. Hopefully it'll go the way of Mizzet, but I suppose we'll go find out right now.
It's game time.
Yeah, we got Robcaster Mage's side this week, so we will be looking at the side of Blue-White Control. This opening hand, 1 land with an opt. I think if he knows the matchup, which I believe he does, I don't think I would keep this hand, but 1 land all-in on opt does not seem like where you want to be in the grindy matchups.
Yeah, because if you miss the second and drop, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Especially Force of Negation, yes, counters Bring to Light, but doesn't counter New Mizzet or Bloodbraid Elf.
Yeah, it's definitely got a game 1. He has a mix of about everything. But he does have a lot of really nice planeswalkers and Johnny Vengeance and stuff like that. But it looks like Robcaster Mage has decided to keep it. No Birds of Paradise, it looks like, for Davius, which is really what puts his deck into the driver's seat. But I think it's not super duper important for this matchup. Pathal Exile definitely goes to the bottom. No land. And no land again, which
This doesn't look good.
of course, the problem with this keep. Another non-land, alright. Field of Ruin is something. Yeah, Field of Ruin is definitely something. Definitely a better a land than no land.
Davius only plays 3 basics, so if he draws some of the basics, Field of Ruin could be actually great.
It's the old strip mine.
Encroaching Wastes.
Yeah. So it looks like nothing again from Davius here, unfortunately. Doesn't have a lot to do in the early game in this matchup. He's just got like a bunch of removal spells, which are terrible in this matchup. Outside of like Fog Erasure and Birds of Paradise, really doesn't look like he has anything to do in the early turns, unfortunately. Robcaster drawing the 3rd land here, which is really nice for him.
I agree.
So it looks like they're probably just going to Field of Ruin here, if I'm guessing.
No, it's not got. Trying to hit the 4th land for probably Jace.
Makes sense. Worth noting, though, that Davies does have triple Izzet Charm, so if they just go for the Jace here, definitely possibly they just get Izzet Charmed, unfortunately. You can't actually use the Force here either.
Yeah, it's in your turn. It's an interesting design of the new forces just working for free on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, I think it would be way too powerful for it to be on the other stand. Worth noting, apparently, Robcaster Mage is playing Ponza. Very nice Ponza deck, I like it.
That was his singleton deck, probably.
Yeah. I remember, I played against him. It was a delight.
It was a sweet deck.
So it looks like And in return, we have what is this? Kolaghan's Command. Ooh, that's a nice one. I think just letting it resolve is fine here. You have some Path to Exiles which aren't super great here. Path your own thing, alright. I guess land 5 is not that bad. The second white source, maybe?
Not sure.
No,
Maybe
okay.
doesn't want to. I mean, the only double white card looks like was Wrath of God from like a short snapshot. So and has Supreme Verdicts too.
Makes
So
sense.
Not great of a card in.
Teferi Time Rattler, that plays right into the Force of Negation here.
Nice. Good for Rockcaster.
Yeah, now it just looks like an easy slam of Narset or Jace here, probably the Jace. Doesn't have to worry about a counterspell here. Got a nice Wrath here, so then Dillian Clique is getting nicely situated here. Though it is worth noting, Davius didn't have the fourth land here, which is pretty bad for them. No Mizzet next turn.
Could be Bloodbred Elf.
But Elf would be decent here. Can't kill the Jace, unfortunately, unless he peels a Helix here. Oh, Birds of Paradise. Not so great, unfortunately, on
I
turn
mean,
5.
it's like an extra mana for the Mizzet for next turn if they have it in hand.
Yep. So this looks like most likely a Path to Exile. So now they have all the mana in the world, so that's lucky. But this Jace can go out of control really, really fast. I'm guessing next turn we're probably just going to see a Narset and then probably just a Vendilion Clique, depending on what the Jace has to say.
I mean,
Draws
that's
like a-
is a good combo.
Yeah. If Robcaster Mage drew a Cryptic Command here, I could see just keeping that open, but it looks like this is just what's going to happen. Vendilion Clique plus the Narset here. Definitely take the Supreme Verdict here so you have something to force. So you can tap out for the Vendilion Clique. Yeah, tap out for the Vendilion Clique so your opponent can't actually do anything. And then we have the Force of Negation as well, so I like this line from Robcaster Mage here. The worst case scenario would be like, oh, they didn't.
I'm
Vendilion Clique
surprised. Yeah.
seems like a slam dunk here. So now you have to cast this crummy Force of Negation on pretty bad for Lightning Helix in general. If Davius has the land here, he can just slam Mizzet, which would be nice. Or even just another Bloodbraid Elf would be really good here.
Yeah, it is either a white or a black source.
Yeah.
As the lead. Yeah, that's
So
the white
white.
source.
He's got a lot of good cards here. Fiery Justice. That's awesome.
That's a really good one.
That's a good one. Gets to actually just kill the Jace and nullify the Narset basically from getting another activation. That was a really nice one. How many Fiery Justice we got? I'm guessing one. Very nice. The one of.
What was
That
that
was-
when you need
That
it?
was pretty sick. It is worth noting that's all three basics. So now these Field of Ruins are strip mines, which is going to be a definite problem. Unfortunately. So yeah, now it's no black mana.
As the bird, so still.
Yeah, bird will hopefully help us out here. Surgical Extraction is a pretty bad one in this matchup, I think. Only thing they have is maybe it's just the Kolaghan's Command, right? Yeah, it's got one more Kolaghan's Command to possibly get back something. I like this interaction a lot. Narset plus Vendilion Clique. Oh, jeez. Bring the light, bring the light, bring the lights. Is it charm?
I think you take a Bring to Light. I mean, this is bad anyway. I feel like with this hand, Davius is like in really good shape.
Yeah, they can cast everything with the birds, so this Bring to Light's definitely going to go get this Mizzet, and I think, yeah, it's going to be a really big problem for Rob Gaster Mage here. Surprised they took the Izzet Charm, but I don't really think it matters, honestly. Like, this is definitely going to go get Mizzet, and this is going to be a really big problem for Rob Gaster Mage.
Yeah, let's see how many cards they draw with Mizzet.
2 in hand currently. Well, luckily, it doesn't say draw it. It says just pick
Yeah,
it.
put in hand.
Yeah, luckily it doesn't say draw.
Sunward Eagle is a Charm, Helix, Orajani, Kaya's Guile, and the Tension Sphere. So it looks like 5 cards.
Okay, 5 cards. Yeah, this is pretty bad for Robcaster Mage for sure. Yeah, it doesn't look like Robcaster Mage can do much here. I mean, the Detention Sphere will, the Supreme Verdict will be nice to clean up this, but outside of that, now he has to deal with all of this. This is Surgical Extraction here is nice. He gets to get rid of all the Bring to Lights in hand. But outside of that, he has to contend with the Kaya's Guile, the Lightning Helix, the Izzet Charm, the Detention Sphere, the Unmoored Ego. That's a lot.
At least with Verdict, you kill off the black sources. So that's, you
That is
stop
actually-
2 spells.
Yeah, that's a big game for sure.
Because Armored Eagle could actually get one of the win conditions from Rockcaster Mage.
Yeah,
You cannot get the Colonnade, but could get like the Fairy. I think it's the only win condition, besides also Snapcasters.
I think you can get the Colony, can't you? You can get lands with Unmoored Ego, I think.
Let me read the text. Choose a card name. Yes, card name.
Yeah, so you can get all of those if you wanted to, because I remember you can do it on Valakut, which is pretty important. Oh wow, that's a really nice pickup here. What happened with the, okay, he just wrathed and then played another bird.
Yeah, so has access to black mana again.
Yeah, so looks like probably a Lightning Helix.
I don't know if you picked up Helix or a Johnny.
He picked up Helix because we got to see his hand from Surgical Extraction. Can you pick Planeswalkers with Mizzet?
Yes, it's like I think any 2-color card.
Yeah, you're right. I'm surprised he took Lightning Helix then over a Johnny Vengeance. Johnny Vengeance seems like a slam dunk here, but Unmoored Ego, easy Cryptic Command here.
Detention Sphere doesn't do much at this point.
Yeah. Rob's definitely looking for another Jace, a Teferi, another Narset, anything to really push his advantage so far. So now that I think about it, the Niv Mizzet didn't actually do too much, surprisingly enough. Kaya's Guile is kind of whatever, and everything else is just a removal spell, and the Izzet Charm's mode of countering something not actually very relevant considering Rob has 8 mana.
That's an aggressive Detention Sphere on the bird.
I think I like it, honestly. It cuts off the black mana, cuts off really Rob from doing much of anything. Granted, Rob definitely needs to push his advantage here. Surprisingly advantage after Mizzet, but I think he's slightly advantaged, not by a lot, but mainly just because the Kaya's Guile and the Izzet Charm and the Detention Sphere really don't do much of anything. Supreme Verdict is definitely a bottom here.
Oh, that's a good one to draw.
Yep, it's a good pickup here. Can actually counter and bounce their own Narset, which seems great here. Just reset the Narset. Could also bounce the Narset here and draw a card, which should not be that bad, but just wants to counter whatever Davius has to play.
I feel like Rockcaster needs some sort of pressure. His
Yeah.
counter spells are good, but if you let the new Mizzet deck rebuild, then also have like Broadberry Arts is like a 2-for-1.
Yeah, any top deck Bloodbraid Elf here would be great. Teferi would be decent. Even the discard spell, like a Thought Erasure off the top, would be pretty fantastic, because you'd probably have to Cryptic Command that, unfortunately. Even Black Safe Request, yeah. That'll probably go get the black mana, right? I think we have a Godless Shrine, maybe. Maybe a
Order Tomb, right? Godless Shrine, yes.
2. Oh, this feels like a really bad Cryptic Command, but you might just have to, because oh no.
The Field of Ruin is great here.
Yeah, the Field of Ruin's great, but that Safe Request, oh man, just double Strip Mine off the top. That's pretty nice. It's a battle of who can do the least.
For Chaos Guy in response, make a 1/1. No, trophy.
Man, these are some aggressive uses of these cards, but Davies doesn't really have anything else going for them. He really needs the mana. Path for the turn 10 Birds of Paradise is pretty crazy, but it's really nothing. Doesn't really have anything else going for him, so I suppose it's probably fine. So it is worth noting that there's no more Bring to Lights for Davies here, so he's got to just cast all these cards normally. So outside of this, there's no Johnny Vengeance left, I don't think. So there's 2 more Mizzets. There is 1 more Bloodbraid Elf. So he actually doesn't have a lot of win conditions left in his deck, surprisingly enough.
I think Abzan is in the bottom of the deck with Mizzet.
Okay, sure. So that technically is a win condition. Very slow one, but it is a win condition. And I guess he has this nice Glittering Wish, which can go get probably something, I suppose. Land off the top or Rob, so this is definitely Davies' time to shine. If he can top deck literally anything, he should be able to really get something going. I think Davies has played all these spells except for Kaya's Guile. He doesn't have the black source yet, so... Oh no, he still has the Sphere too, I think.
Yeah, he could get the black source with the fashion, but I don't know if he wants black or red, so I don't know if he wants to fetch, because there's still like a Sacred Foundry and a Stomping Ground in the deck. Oh, and he draws it.
We draw the Mizzet. That would be a big game here. Whew, Niv Mizzet. And Robcaster just has nothing. And he gets another Niv Mizzet.
That you cannot take.
Kaya's Guile, and it looks like that's the Bloodbraid Elf. Nice, okay.
So not too much.
Not too much, but anything is better than nothing. Snapcaster is an excellent draw here. Probably just has to get... Oof, man. Cryptic Command, I suppose. This the 6/6 is actually kind of a problem. Like, pathing it, I suppose, is okay, but now you still have to contend with the Bloodbraid Elf. Kaya's Guile is actually pretty nice. I think he has to use the Snapcaster Mage now, or else Kaya's Guile is going to really mess up his plans. He knows about it too.
Let's going to take 1 hit and see what happens.
Yep.
Force the Kaya's Guile here, but doesn't feel great just because they can use all 4 modes of Kaya's Guile.
Yeah, all the modes of Kaya's Guile here is actually pretty good. Second creature is fine. Exile the Graveyard is definitely happening. Make a 1/1 is probably okay too. But unfortunately, I think Robcaster Mage really should have used this Snapcaster Mage on his turn, since he knew about the Kaya's Guile. At least just getting rid of the Mizzet would have been totally fine. But
That's off the top. Let's see if Rob can top deck anything good, because otherwise the game's going to be over pretty soon.
yeah, that 6/6 is going to get very easy to kill somebody 3 turns. He's like a Jace. Ooh, what a call. Jace off the top is nice.
Yeah, but what do? You don't want to bounce the Mizzet, you don't want to bounce the Flyer.
I think just draw cards, because we have the Celestial Colony to at least block the Mizzet for 1 turn, right?
Shuffle and opt.
I definitely think you have to crack the special land here. We don't want either of these cards. I don't like the attack with the Snapcaster Mage here, because we know that Davius here has the Bloodbraid Elf, right?
Yes.
So now Jace is definitely going to go down, depending on this opt. Spring Verdict's not the worst here, but this Jace is definitely going to die here now, unfortunately, because of the Bloodbraid Elf.
And if the Bubble Elf gets like something sweet, like a Collector's Command to rebind him, Izzet.
Yeah, this one's going to get out of control real fast. Though it's possible that there's definitely some stinkers that you can hit with the Bloodbraid Elf, but Bloodbraid Elf being able to just kill Jace on its own is probably just good enough. Let's see what we hit. Thought Erasure, yeah. That's a stinker.
I mean, you scry one. It's not the worst card you could draw.
That's fair. Definitely could have hit like Safe Right Quest or Abrupt Decay. That would have been pretty bad. Spell Snare. Oh, we just shuffled that away too. That's rough. All right, race time. I mean, it is a positive race for Robcaster here. So
Yeah, but I feel like with only Colonnade and Davius with like 4 cards in hand.
big birds. That's actually not that bad of a card here.
Yeah, budget turn.
Yeah. He knows about another Kaya's Guile, I believe, here.
Yes.
No, I guess not. I thought he had another Kaya's Guile. Oh, is this the last Kolgan's command? That'd be a big blowout here. Oh, oh no.
Yeah, I think he is over.
Yeah, this one looks pretty rough here now. He's a good one. Path to Exile, not so hot. And now, I guess it is worth noting, it probably won't come up. Davius does only have 18 cards left in their deck.
That's our costs 19. I don't know, I can't see under this name.
Don't think it'll come up, but I suppose we'll see. Though it's been pretty crazy, like all of the Path to Exiles and the Field of Ruins that have no lands, obviously, is really awkward. I think Davius drew at least one of these basics, so that's going to be pretty rough. I think we just windmill slam this 6/6 and kind of hope for the best for Davius here. Robcaster Mage, unfortunately, doesn't have anything to deal with it coming into play.
There's not many other creatures left in Davius' deck. Because the 2 Bloodbraid Elves are gone.
Yeah. I think
you have
left
birds or...
for win conditions, I think he only has one more Mizzet and the Ajani? I think that's it. Oh, he has the Glittering Wish. Yeah, the Glittering Wish is pretty nice here, too.
And you have like Handmaster of the Fast, it's probably the best card you can grab from Cyber or Comball.
Yeah, come on, that one. This is pretty crazy, actually. It's like Davius is actually running out of ways to actually win the game. I think it's possible. Yeah, we just use the Spell Center here. There's no reason not to. This is crazy. This has been... I wouldn't even say back and forth. It's kind of just been like a slow... Like, one side has never been ahead, I don't think. It's been like just slightly ahead, and then one person gets slightly ahead, and the other one's just nosing each other. Oh, Mana Leak is a pretty bad one here. Let's see here. If they go... Oh, to very off the top is rough times.
You can have in Mana Leaks to kind of have them not play Glittering Wish this turn.
Yeah, gotta use it. It just doesn't pay? That's pretty surprising.
Probably because it was the last card in his hand, so you can Glittering Wish for Comball probably, or no, he did for Ashiok.
Oh. Oh no, the bill is actually going to come up. the 4 cards is going to be relevant. Oh no. And now, that's probably one of the better top decks here, because that actually kills the Ashiok. Oh, but he has the birds to block. The bird to block is huge.
Near Mizzet? No, it's only for man. Adrenaline, corner tap.
You can't tap it. Oh my goodness.
This match is crazy.
The Ashiok is actually going to win the game, it looks like. Robcaster Mage has like no cards left in his deck. This is crazy. These one-ups has just been a house. Oh my goodness. Oh, what happened?
Okay, we're back.
This Teferi, it's actually like not even that good here,
I
unfortunately.
don't want to draw card because it's
Yeah,
gonna kill yourself.
Yeah, Rob only has 4 cards left in his deck, so he's like forced to bounce the Ashiok here. But he's just gonna draw it in 3 turns, and it's just not gonna be good enough. There's no way to put any more cards in his deck, and I think that's actually gonna be it, which is crazy. the one of Ashiok coming in clutch. I don't think there's anything Rob can do here. The colony's locked down. He only has 4 cards in his deck. Teferi, the plus Teferi is no good. Wow, this game's been crazy. I don't even know what's left in Rob's deck. I don't think he can draw anything here.
I think all the cryptics are gone. I think one Jace is still left in the deck, maybe?
I guess, but I don't think that's like he can't even plus fast enough. Oh, that one's definitely not good.
I mean, now we see what's left in this deck if it activates.
Sure.
I think it sees all of this deck.
Logic Knot, Snapcaster Mage. I mean, he had 2 win conditions, but they're too slow, and Davius gets the first match. This is the first game. That was crazy. So yeah, I like a bunch of these cards actually. The Ashiok is actually surprisingly very good against them. That shuts off Safe Right Quest, shuts off all the fetch lands, shuts off Ring to Light. Seems great.
Yeah. They probably cut some of the Wrath, keep like 1 for safety.
Yeah.
The paths also don't look that great, but I think you need to take care of the 6/6.
Yeah, outside of Path, you really don't have any way of dealing with 6/6. I'm not sure these surgical extractions. It's not really relying on the graveyard really at all. It's just like a Kolaghan's command. But I guess if you counter one spell, you can get rid of the rest of them. Like if you're able to tag one DaviusMinimus, it's probably okay.
It was good game 1 when it just like count. I think Bring to Light with counter resolved and then it just surgical them.
Makes sense.
But maybe it's just thinking not to play them. I like the mental plan of the board because I assume that Davius sides out some of the small removal.
Yeah.
But also see the problem since they have a Glittering Wish main board that can actually get some of this removal. So I feel like mental might not be.
For sure. Mentor might be that great. He's definitely keeping in Kolaghan's commands. He's most likely keeping in Kaya's Guile. The Lightning Helixes are probably going to go. Assassin's Trophy, I definitely think stays because it can kill any of these Planeswalkers, but really, really unfortunate. I'm sorry, guys, about the echo. I don't really understand what's happening here, unfortunately. It's, I think, unfortunately, Skype is just a poopy program, and, not much I can do about that. But it's the last game for the night. Hopefully we can get it fixed for next time. But, I don't know, Rockcaster drew like a lot of his good cards here, and it didn't really seem to matter. I think, like we said in the forecast, like, if a Mizzet just lands, the game just snowballs out of control too much.
I mean, like, even in the worst case, I'm gonna draw 2 cards out of Mizzet, unless you see 10 lands.
Yeah.
And it's really
lands.
unlikely to see 10 lands out of, like, probably the
That'd be
40
pretty-
that you have left.
Yeah, that'd be pretty pretty unlucky, but I suppose it's a possibility. Not sure about this hand. It's really doing much of nothing. You're really at the mercy of of Davius here. But I guess they just really want to go all in on the Mentor, because you have the Mentor plus backup, so I suppose that's not too bad, but Davius has got the turn 1 birds, which really puts his deck into overdrive here. Another land for Robcaster Mage, really not helping his situation here.
Yeah, and also, like, I mean, I feel like Mentor's not going to be enough in the face of new Mizzet.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if, they just slam the Mentor here on turn 3, just at the mercy of Davius here, you could have really much of anything. Though, I suppose, because now he's forced to play the Mentor and hold up Narset, if that's his plan. Ooh, Teferi's an excellent draw here. I think he probably just jams that one here.
And Davius doesn't have any counter spells besides like a 1 Dovin's Veto.
He's got the Izzet Charms.
Oh yeah, forgot about those.
Yeah, no, never usually use that mode on Izzet Charm, but it is a mode. Doesn't look like they had it though, because they had the mana open for it. Oh no, because it doesn't have the Overgrown Tomb. Yeah. So here, replays the birds. Looks like that's about it. Kept in the lightning helixes. That's interesting. Definitely thinking about this force.
I would let it go, but I'm bad at playing control.
That's fair. I think I would let it go too. I don't think Teferi's really doing much outside of that 1 bounce and then force your opponent to use a couple resources.
I mean, it starts Bring to Light, that's probably why you try to keep it alive.
Makes sense. So it looks like this Mentor is just not getting cast at all. And if it's not coming down early, like, what is it really doing?
Yeah, Alate is going to be outclassed by almost everything.
Yeah. This looks like it is. Mizzet. That's bad times. Let's see how many cards he gets to draw. He's got 3 in hand. And it's Mizzet. So good.
Zero cards.
We can't see. We can look at how many S's. Oh, that's a lot of multicolored spells.
I mean, you need to choose between Unmaster and Blood Raid. You have Teferi, Kaya's Guile, and that's it. And Glittering Wish.
At least 4 cards, right?
4 cards.
Only 4 cards. No big deal. the old 5 for 1. No biggie.
A turn 4, 6/6 that throws you 4 cards.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad. It looks like it's okay enough for Modern. And the crazy thing is, Broadcaster Mage doesn't actually have an out to this Mizzet other than bouncing it at the moment.
And it's not a good out. I rather
It's not the best out. Oh, Spell Snare. Not so hot here.
Let's see what Narset can find.
Yep.
Oh,
Path.
Path.
Right on time. Path's not too bad. I think we get to go just slam Teferi here and then untap and with the ability. Path. Seems great.
You should probably do it upkeep since. Oh, that's
We're gonna play the Mentor here, okay.
going aggressive now.
I'm not sure if this is where you want to be, given your opponent just had, like 5 cards added to their hand, one of them being a removal spell, but we'll see how it goes. Thought Erasure, very nice time for the Spell Snare.
And 1 monk.
Yep, 1 monk, so now we're protected against the Kaya's Guile, which is excellent. So it looks like this is panning out pretty well. It's probably just going to play Bloodbraid Elf here, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but you cannot cast a cascaded spell.
Yeah, for sure.
You still have.
Might not know about it though. Oh,
One
unmasked.
monster.
He
So
took the
you
unmasked.
keep.
Okay.
Yeah. Unmasked is actually good against Mentor because like control doesn't want to like play much stuff during their turn.
Yep.
It's kind of like you force control to play stuff during their turn because otherwise Unmaster flips and kills Mentor.
For sure. So the Snib Mizzet's going down. We're getting a bunch of monks here though. Just going directly to the monastery. So my guess, the Disdainful Stroke. It's not that bad. Because we just plus, play Teferi, plus again. And then we can use the Field of Ruin on something and then still hold up. Oh no, we don't have enough mana for that, but we can just plus and hold up the Disdainful Stroke, and Robcaster Mage is in a great spot here.
How crazy is to bounce the Wolf token?
A bit aggressive here. I think we're supposed to play the control role here. It just takes the 4 and he's soaked. Because now you're forced to block with your Monastery Mentor here if you want to keep open some of these cards. And if Davies just has a spell that costs under 3, it costs 3 or under, it's looking really awkward for this Mentor. Supreme Verdict. Alright, that works too.
Yeah. And you can like take down one of the Teferi by 2? No, you can trade with it.
Well, this is interesting actually, because Supreme Verdict here, if he does Supreme Verdict, it seems great for Robcaster Mage. He still has both of these Teferis and the Narset, so I would just trade here. And
They would try to keep the Mentor alive so they're forced to cast the Verdict.
Yeah, I mean, they have to cast the Verdict, and you're soaked. You have 3 Planeswalkers to their nothing, and you're happy to get Verdict here.
Yeah, but with this double block, they're probably not going to Verdict.
Yeah, I could definitely believe that now. Black mana.
And Nordigo.
Start spell? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I would have probably kept the Mentor alive just for forcing them to Verdict.
Yeah, if you force them to Verdict, you can just block whatever they're trying to kill, and then just what you want to Verdict, go right ahead. I'm soaked. I've got 3 Planeswalkers. Teferi here, not great. You just bounce it and lose it, unfortunately, but I guess if you don't really have anything else going on for you. This is looking really good for Robcaster Mage here. I mean, 3 Planeswalkers in play, even though Narset's not doing a ton. Also, the Teferi didn't even draw Davius a card here, unfortunately. Just because of that Narset, so this is looking pretty great for Davius, even though he's just drawing nothing but lands.
Oh, Click is actually pretty good.
Yeah, Clique pressures the life, plus the ability of Narset stops him from drawing an extra card, which is great. Kills Teferi. Calls it a day. And Robcaster is definitely in the driver's seat now. 3 Planeswalkers, this Vanilla Clique, which is a threat, and Davies.
Yeah. I can see some spots where he actually loses. If Davies is double Mizzet here.
Sure. Can't bring to light, unfortunately, because of the Teferi. You can't. The Supreme Verdict now is kind of mopey. So it's like Kaya's Guile, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but you cannot cast it since the time.
Yeah, you can't cast it. The Rattler. And yeah, his hand is just nothing. Kaya's Guile does nothing here. On More Ego, also nothing. Supreme Verdict. I think Robcaster just lets him have these cards. None of these cards really do much of anything.
I mean, you're gonna grab a card anyway because with Narset, you just don't draw the extra card.
Yeah, you're right. It's free at that point. It's free real estate. Unmoored Ego. I'm not sure what you name here. I guess if you played any Cryptic Commands, you might want to name that, since it's probably the only card they have 4 of left in their deck. But other than that, all their win conditions are in play other than, Cryptic Command, the name.
It's a good name.
Yeah, I think it's the only card that they've had 4 of.
I think there's one in the yard. No, it's not. Cryptic Command. That's Force of Negation.
Force of Negation, yeah, for sure. But other than this, is probably just going to Supreme Verdict. but now he's just facing 3 planeswalkers, mainly just the Teferis here, and just Snapcaster Mage is a great pickup here.
You also because they cannot Kaya's guy in. Oh, I think they took Kaya's guy.
Yeah, he took Kyle's Gal, so the only card left in Davius' hand, I'm pretty sure, is this Bring to Light at the moment, which he cannot actually do anything because of the Teferi, and Rodcaster Mage is just far ahead here. I think he's just got this one locked up. Davius has got a top deck. Let's see here. What can he top deck here to actually get out of this? I don't think anything because of the Disdainful Stroke. He could have top decked Mizzet, but because of the Snapcaster now and Rodcaster Mage's hand, just covering that quite nicely. And with the Jace, I think this is just going to definitely be the game here, unfortunately, for Davius here.
Yeah, and this just Jace probably just can snap and see. Well, maybe there is a charm, but with the fairy they cannot do anything. Yeah, just let them have it.
Bring to Light. Enjoy. And that's it.
And we're going to game 3.
4 planeswalkers to 1, that's fair. Fair and balanced Magic. Alright.
And this game determines which team will have a 1 game advantage on the overall game leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty important. But luckily Team Fire has an advantage of nights, of weeks, not nights.
Yeah. So it should be pretty crazy here. This is not everything on the line, but almost. If Davius gets to win, we get to go in with a slight lead. If Rodcaster Mage is, I believe it's just a nice tie.
No, if Rodcaster Mage, you guys are leading 3-2 in the week. Because you have 3-1 for now. So
yeah, but you have the one lead from the past weeks.
Yeah.
So currently we are tied, I believe. Oh, so yeah, this matchup. Oh wow, this matchup determines everything. This is crazy. Rodcaster Mage's hand looks pretty nice. We're set up against non-creature spells, and no birds from Davius. Oh, the Mox Tantalite. I didn't even
the
know.
one-off
I didn't even know he had that in his deck.
is hidden in this deck list as a one-off.
Sweet, love it. I always hope that that card would be actually useful, but
I don't think so.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. But hey, we'll get to see it in action. Hopefully it'll be useful. I mean, I suppose going from does it have suspend 3 or suspend 2?
Suspend 3.
Suspend 3. Oh man,
It's the same as
comes down so late.
as the modern Black Lotus.
Oh, the Lotus Bloom.
Yeah.
I wonder if Lotus Bloom would actually be better in the deck than Mox Tantalite.
I don't know, because I want use only, and you are required to use a lot of different colors.
I don't know. We got a nice 4-3. It actually plays pretty nicely against Rodcaster Mage's hand, which is pretty funny.
It kills Narset.
Just only has negate effects in his hand. Negate effects in Narset, so he's got to make a choice here whether he wants to path the Knight or just play Narset for 1 card. Looks like he wants to path the Knight here. This is actually pretty funny. If Davius just has land into the Mizzet here, it's going to be a really big problem for Rodcaster Mage. This Mox Tantalite might actually do something. Actually considering countering Mox Tantalite. I think that's the best possible outcome for Mox Tantalite, honestly.
But I think you have here, because if Davius throws a land, you can just snap near Mizzet and close the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And the land is there, but
Yeah,
only
no
for
Mox Tantalite. Alright, you tried your best, Mox. Alright, so this doesn't look that bad. Takes the forward here, path at the end of the turn.
And now the 5 lands.
Yeah. Oust. Not looking great. I think we're just gonna, yes, the most I've ever seen Mox Anthelite achieve. You got that right. Looks like just a Narset here. Ooh, that would be pretty nice next turn. Oust. So now we're hoping that, Rob's hoping that Davius doesn't have the Black Stars here for the new Mizzet. Oh, there's the Black Stars. Do we have the new Mizzet too? That would be pretty big game.
Yeah, Bring to Light at least gets stopped by the Force.
Yep. This doesn't look like a, looks like a Bring to Light here. Yep,
For
that's
4?
so good. Yeah. For 4 is kind of surprising here. We could do it for 5, right?
Maybe you get Bloodbraid Elf to kill off Narset.
I could see that, but definitely gonna. It's got white, black, green, red, and blue.
Yes, all the no.
It's got all the
White,
colors.
black, red, green, blue. Yeah.
Yep, it's got all the colors. He just has to give his opponent 2 life. Path Exhaust top is a nice one. So now I think we just snap Ashiok and prevent any more further Bring to Lights. Get rid of that Mox Tantalite. Get it out of here.
Get the Assassin's Trophy and Bloodbraid Elf in the mill.
Nice.
So 1 Bloodbraid Elf left and 1 Assassin's Trophy left in the deck.
Still, if we have the Houndmaster, that's a decent one. Mox Tantalite. Oh, Mox Tantalite. So this looks pretty great for Robcaster Mage here, depending on what Davies said. I still have 3 cards, but this looks like a...
Snapcaster is good.
Yeah, Snapcaster is a great one here. The Path, which you can't search for a land because of Ashiok.
No, you can search for a land.
Oh, you can? Oh, sweet.
Ashiok prevents your opponent to search for the library for their own ability or spells, but if you pad them, they search for the land.
Okay, sweet.
It's a weird wording. I
Yeah.
have to reread the card so many times before understanding what they actually did.
Cryptic Command here, excellent pickup. So now all Robcaster Mage has to do is just find any sort of threat, like a Jace, a Teferi, anything really. Dreadbore, nice. Gets rid of that.
Counter Bounce the Wolf? Or draw?
I like that line. Counterbounce the Wolf seems great. Gets rid of our opponent's way to kill our Ashiok here.
No, it's not caster Force of Negation.
That would work too. Forces us to trade the Snapcaster though. And if our opponent has a removal spell, it's going to be a little awkward.
I feel like they cut maybe some of the elixirs from the main world, but not the charms. So the charm can actually finish off Snapcaster Mage.
Makes
or
sense.
counter the Force of Negation.
It's also possible if he has like a Izzet. I was going to say if he had Izzet charm there, that'd be pretty nice. Going after the Narset here is pretty interesting. What do we have here? A Johnny. Ooh, excellent draw.
Yeah.
Gets rid of the Ashiok. And a land for Robcaster Mage. So Johnny might put in work here.
Yeah, also if Rob ever taps a land, it's gonna constrain like 1 more land.
Johnny pretty slow to do much of anything at this point, so I think we're at a nice stalemate, but Rob does have a counter to anything that Davies plays. End of turn, just a little bit aggressive here. Does leave him open to getting countered.
Is it the Dobbins Veto?
Yeah.
No.
Nope, no Dovin's Veto. What is this? 6 mana? 5 mana? Nothing. Oh, Kaiasgal. Okay. So Kaiasgal, all the modes. Very nice. So you paid an extra 2 mana to gain 4 life, basically. It's probably not the worst thing of all time.
Do you know what loyalty is Ajani's ultimate?
7.
Okay.
So long time from now. Long time. Teferi is an excellent pickup here. So the Spirit can put Narset down to being able to kill if he uses the ability, but Davies has got to have something here or else this Teferi is really going to take away the game. Is this Nib Mizzet? Oh, Nib Mizzet off the top here, most likely. It looks like that's really bad for RJ here.
Yeah, especially with the aggressive ship
Yeah,
command.
they have a really aggressive character command. So he hits, it looks like Assassin's Trophy, Glittering Wish, Lightning Helix, and a Brain to Light. Jeez.
Yeah, I feel like this. I'm probably pessimistic, but I think this game is over.
Yeah. And now that Robcaster Mage really doesn't have anything to deal with the Nib Mizzet or the Ajani, other than this bounce of Teferi, which really isn't an answer for the moment. It's looking pretty grim for Robcaster Mage.
I think it still has a verdict. So
That would be a decent one here. Finally get to use the Ajani for something. I think I might have used the Ajani, even though we lose the Ajani, I might have helixed the Narset here, just to get our opponent off of looking for more cards, but it looks like the Narset really hasn't found any way to deal with anything here.
yeah,
So now we're looking for a path, I guess.
we find a
Ooh,
spell
spell
snare.
snare. That's rough. So
I mean,
now,
that's three targets that of spells that Davius drew with Nib Mizzet.
nope, that's right, yeah. A lot of the spells he hit does hit the spell snare, but this Nib Mizzet just getting to cleanly answer Teferi here is a pretty big game. What do we got here? Blood Red Elf? Looks like it.
Bring to light.
Yep, that could be it too. Blood Red Elf. Gets around the mana leak too. Oh, Birds of Paradise was probably the worst one here, but once again, like this Nib Mizzet is just gonna rule the roost here because there's no path, no removal spell, and all he has is counter spells for really awkward things here.
Yeah. Mana leak is basically dead at this point.
Yeah, Mana Leak not looking great. Spell Snare will have some targets, but that's not what the game plan here is right now. We have to deal with this board, so it's really looking for the Supreme Verdict that he has left in his deck.
But Davius doesn't even need to play any of the spells. He used any of the 2 drops.
Yeah, he just has to hold this board open. I definitely would not commit more to it personally. It's probably that Glittering Wish. Definitely use the Spell Snare on that one. That one could be a lot of trouble. You can get really a lot of things that are problematic.
I could probably even mana leak since he didn't have enough mana to pay for it.
Oh, okay, fair enough, yeah.
It might be weird.
Teferi here, not really doing too much. It's probably just going to bounce the token, I'm guessing. Oh, bouncing that feels bad. Bouncing that feels bad. But they're going to have to pay for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they have enough to pay for the mana leak, unfortunately. And yeah, Robcaster Mage is really getting put through the ringer here by this Mizzet. Worth noting, Johnny is at 4 here, so only a couple more uptakes to the ultimate. Also, Johnny can just kill either one of the planeswalkers here. I love a Johnny.
It's probably my first Planeswalker that I played in Modern.
Yeah, I love Johnny. I played it back in Standard. I played it back. Card's so sick. Force of Negation finally having a target, but really now it's just gonna slam dunk this, slam dunk the Mizzet again, and it's just gonna put Robcaster Mage even farther in the hole he's in right now. Take out the Narset, take out the Teferi. Commands a little late, unfortunately. One turn too late, I think.
Yeah, because the Mizzet can still resolve.
Yep. Just gonna Johnny on a land, cast the Mizzet, and Robcaster Mage has got a top deck. I don't even know what he can top that. Like, even a sweeper here, and he's still down like 10 cards almost. That's crazy to think. You're just like, alright, sweet, I finally found my sweeper, get rid of 4 cards. Oh, I'm still down. Oh, wow, he didn't play the Mizzet. That's really surprising. That might actually come back to haunt him here. Like, their clock is decent, I suppose, but that top deck of Celestial Colonnade is really nice. I'm surprised he didn't play the 6/6 here. Seems a lot better.
Yeah, you cannot counter that Helix.
Looks like he can just start down taking with this Johnny. Just deal the 3, deal the 3.
Yeah, you need to counter this one, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's game.
Yeah, this is just nothing you can do but hit all the Dovin's veto. Yeah, this one's no good, unfortunately. Take 2 from that.
Even Verdict doesn't do it, just because he's too low, Johnny can shock him twice.
Yeah. Yeah, the Johnny minus here is just lethal on board. I mean, the Snapcaster is good, but unfortunately he's just too slow. Yeah, we're probably going to see Snapcaster try its best, but really, unfortunately, it's going to be all for naught. Opt is really not where you want to be here. Field of Ruin, that's not going to do us any good. Crypt Command, also not so good here. So I think if Davies just has any removal spell here, that's just lethal with the Johnny.
He has Assassin's Trophy in hand, I think.
Alright. Doesn't want to use it.
Just playing it safe, I guess.
It's pretty. I mean, I guess if you're up, 6 cards, and I guess you don't have to play it. Combo again. I'd probably just a Johnny down tick here. Just deal the 3. Nope.
Just going for the land destruction plan.
Yeah. I want to use the Armageddon. Who doesn't want Armageddon? This looks like bounce the Johnny, take 2.
And now it's on board. Unless it draws a counter for a Johnny, but then it's dead on board anyway because it takes 2 out of combo.
Yeah. Even if he bounces it, he can just go, just play it again, and that'll be it. Yeah, I can't see Rockcaster really doing much of anything, especially since he can't actually cast any spells because of the combo. Cinder Bloods. Insult to injury here.
And you need to force of negation that one.
But then you take 2 from the combo, and that's...
I think you can block combo, but yeah, then a Johnny can just kill Snowcastle and you can attack, or can just helix you.
Yep. Yeah, this looks looking like game over, especially since he still has the Johnny in hand. So the Johnny in hand will now just kill him. One, 2, 3. Nope. 3, 4. There we go. Johnny. When he looks the face, that'll be it. We take down. Woo!
Sad day for Team Fire. At least Garrett prevented us from losing all 5 matches.
It was a 4-1 right there.
Woo!
That was a tremendous tremendous match. I mean, game one went down to 4 cards. It was a mill plan at one point. That was fantastic. As a blue player, what do you think, Andrea? What do you think? How do you feel about that blue versus blue matchup right there?
It was really fun to watch. I think especially game one was really crazy. So it was really interesting to watch, but I feel like New Mizzet is just, if it resolves, it's just awful for any control player. I mean, I guess almost every deck that doesn't deal direct damage to the face have problems whenever New Mizzet resolves.
Right. Mizzet kind of reminds me, watching this reminded me a little bit of like an Amulet Titan control matchup, where if you resolve an Amulet Titan, it's going to draw you cards, but Amulet Titan draws you like a land and another Amulet Titan. Mizzet drew like another Mizzet and 5 more cards with it, along with counter magic to protect Mizzet. It was, I mean, there's a reason why it costs 1 of each color. That card is insane.
Yeah, it seems like from the side of the control player, all they had was just negate effects. So just being a creature alone was enough most of the time. You had when they cast a Mizzet every time, you had at least 3 counter spells, but none of them actually countered the Mizzet, unfortunately. You had like the Force of Negation, the other counter spell, and the Spell Snare, but none of them did anything in face of the old 5-mana 6/6 draw 5 cards, basically.
Yeah,
Right.
so I feel like you cannot cut the Force of Negation just because they counter kill spells. So it's kind of awkward because you need to counter both creature and non-creature spells at the same time. So it's hard to pick which battle to fight and which cards you have in hand at the right time.
It really does. I think it's the problem with control, just in having, when you have a negate in hand or a force of negation in hand, and then your opponent has Mizzet instead of Bring to Light, like there's nothing you can really do there.
Yeah, you have to pick your battles. Unfortunately, if they have the Bring to Light when you have the negate, it's great. But if they have the Mizzet when you have the negate, you just feel like, the world is over.
Mana Leak seemed like a really rough card. I understand the need for it, but I've never really liked Mana Leak against ramp decks, especially when you're running Path to Exile and you're helping progress their mana anyway. I guess if the Mizzet player there knew control, had the Mana Leak in hand, then you can just wait till you have 3 extra mana, and it's kind of like a tax. It doesn't seem... Mana Leak doesn't seem great there to me.
Yeah, most of the time he drew Mana Leak, it was like way later in the game, so it really didn't do much. And also, Davies is not really ramping like that much. His birds, and that's about it. But other than the path, I suppose early game, which didn't seem like it happened that much, but most of the time, he drew Mana Leak on turn like 12. So obviously, Mana Leak's not going to be so hot there.
Not at all. Not at all. No, that was a fantastic match. Both of you guys did absolutely phenomenal commentary. I know I'm going to get teased because everyone says I always have more Team Ice representatives than Team Fire on the commentary, but I actually just went back and checked, and Team Fire's had more commentary than Team Ice, if you exclude me, because I try to stay unbiased, except for this particular moment when it's gonna be a Team Ice homeboy and say, look at that, 23-22 after 45 matches, and it's not like it was like 20-3 and now it's 23-22. It's never felt one-sided in any direction, at least to me. It seems like every night, whichever team won the previous night, the next team wins the next night, and then that's just how it seems to be going every single night over every single week. It's just a battle. Like this is clearly a marathon we're both enduring through right now, to see which team, after the 100 total matches we will be playing, will have 51, and which one will have 49.
It seems like what it's going to come down to. It's going to be great.
That's the path we're on right now. I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Card Hoarder and Card Kingdom. They're great. They keep the lights on. Actually, it's right above me right now saying that. I really do use those companies. I use both of them one for digital product and one for paper product. And they would not be a sponsor if both Chris and I did not use them a lot. So we really like them. We wanted the league to be sponsored by companies we actually use. Just like we're really, really happy that the league is endorsing charities that we're both really happy with, which is, again, A21, whose goal is to end slavery all over the world, to just stop slavery, because slavery is... I still can't believe that we're in 2019 and there's still millions of people enslaved. It's sickening, really, to think about. And then the Cancer Research Institute, which is working to end cancer all over the world, because this is a global effort, and just the Modern Streamers League does have players from all over the world, so we wanted to make sure both of our charities affected people from all over the world. What do the bottom numbers mean, I'm being asked? So the number on the left, the 2 and the 1, is weeks 1. So we did have that tie in week 3. So Team Fire is up 1 weekly victory, but right now Team Ice has won the most matches because Team Ice is ahead on winning so far, is projected to win this week. And if those projections hold true, then we'll be going looking at 2, 2, and 1 for both teams to close out season 1. Yep, night wins, week wins. It's week wins. I didn't actually count the nightly wins. It was Team Ice won 4 matches tonight to Team Fire's 1.
Yeah, we got there, luckily. We still got one more day to go, though, so who knows what's happening next week.
Absolutely.
No more
Sorry,
top decks,
next
please.
day, my apologies.
And we have, on Wednesday, we have 2 players that will still be playing for the 5-0 undefeated dream. I am one of them, and Spider Space is the other on his beloved Thalia Stompy deck. So definitely tune in on Wednesday to see whether or not we are able to maintain and hold out the 5-0 dream for season 1.
One time.
So if both of us get there, then we're pretty much a lock. Because that put us at 25 wins. Then we need 1 more win. If we just 3-2 next week, we're guaranteed to get there. So.
Yep.
Kat was undefeated, but she lost to KoDiamonds last week, and then she lost this week again to Cyrus. She started out 3-0. Yamakiller was undefeated until I defeated him last week, I believe. And who else was undefeated? I'm forgetting somebody, but they lost also. RJ Benson was undefeated for a while until he lost. I think that was last week that he lost. So that is it for the undefeateds. It's just 2 players on Team Ice, Spider Space, and I.
Nice.
Yeah, yes. Yes, they match where I had a bunch of Karn the Great Creators against a Hardened Scales deck. Turns out main board Stony Silence is really, really good against a artifact-centric deck.
Unbelievable.
So, Andrea, what was your favorite match of the night? What was your favorite moment, and why?
Sadly, it was a loss for us, but the Surgical Extraction top deck by KoDiamonds was really at the right spot before probably losing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Bob drawing him a Liliana, and then for the draw step, the Surgical Extraction was really key.
Yeah, I really liked the position that Kevin put himself in there when he chose to have the Past in Flames be the discarded card, because that meant that he gave himself the most time to top deck a Graveyard Hate spell with Bob, because he pushed back the time. He basically made Caleb wait a turn, either needing to top deck a Ritual or a land, and Storm does not run that many lands. Marcus, what was your favorite match moment, and why?
Well, it's got to be the last one, right? I mean, that match was ridiculous. It was just back and forth forever. Nobody was really ever in the lead, per se. It was just like haymaker after answer after haymaker after answer. Mizzet drawing 4 cards, but that actually wasn't good enough because the 4 cards were really awkward. And it was just crazy. Went down to milling. was ridiculous. And then, I mean, the second game, it was kind of just the same. And the third game was just almost the same, except for a little more lopsided towards Davius because he finally got to land that Mizzet and kind of just spiraled out of control for unfortunately Routcaster Mage. Just all of his answers just didn't line up with the threats that Davius was putting up. So I enjoyed that one. Other than obviously my match winning.
Oh, creepy
Also,
chill.
Garrett winning in like 3 minutes was also turn 3 win, and like an easy win was pretty sweet too. At least our only win was
It's
pretty
just
bummed for us.
Yes, that is
The
a
2-second
matchup
match.
that I don't think. I mean, I don't know. There's not much PuntThenWhine can do in that particular matchup. Like I mentioned before, I've played that matchup from Abzan Company's side 10 times in competitive leagues, and I've lost one time to Amulet Titan. So I just don't think there's much that the Amulet Titan player can do against a very good Druid player. So I believe that is pretty much it for the night. Definitely check out the charities. Definitely check out our sponsors. I want to thank you guys both for being on tonight. Marcus, it's your first time on. Andrea, it's your second time on. So thank you guys very much for hanging out with me and for making my life fun and my life easy and for giving absolutely great commentary throughout the night. So thank you both.
Yeah, no problem.
It was really fun to be here, and hope to be here again soon.
I'll have to do my best to get you guys both back on real soon. So that was it. I want to wish everybody a fantastic evening, and we'll see you all Wednesday to conclude Season 1. Who, if Team Ice wins on Wednesday, or can at least close out this week on Wednesday, then the teams will be tied with weekly wins 2 apiece going in to the final season, the next 5 weeks, which will take place after GP Vegas. However, if Team Fire can pull off an unbelievable upset to come back, which we've seen them do before on Wednesday, then they will hold the league and be Season 1 champions of the first ever Modern Streamers League. So that's it. I want to wish you guys all a great night. Have a good night, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
See ya.
Bye.